Hello everyone and welcome to yet another game of Rewriters of History. Today, hey, Oliver, I can see your face.
Yes, you can finally see my face.
Ah, nice to see you. And Theo's here as well. We see everybody's faces. That's really good. Good. Okay. So today we are going to finish the scenario of Caesar's verse. Hopefully, currently you are all in the middle of the verse, and something tragic has just happened. You were going to the no man's land between Caesar's camp and Elysia, the city where Vercingetorix has taken camp, when and you were parleying in the middle with Vercingetorix and some of his men, and it turns out that when he started talking with you, he seemed to be aware that you were rewriters. A fight ensued, during which Stefan was hurt and couldn't see. He basically had blood in his eyes, and when he felt the tug of a familiar verse, a verse that would teleport him to the safety of his friends, a verse that only Phillip's ever used in the past, he let himself be carried by the teleportation. I'm getting an echo from someone. Theo, did you just activate your mic? Did somebody just activate their headphones instead of their headset? Okay, I'm not hearing the feedback anymore. And basically, the verse, Nicholas Flamel's rewritten verse to teleport an ally to you, was used to snatch Stefan away by one of your enemies, who basically teleported him to the city of Elysia behind the enemy lines and captured him. And that's around where we had stopped. At the very end, Philip was galloping towards the city inside of Caesar's body, and to the side, the Vercingetorix and his 5 warriors are also galloping towards the city at the same time, and our friend Chris knocked one of the warriors off of his horse and stopped him and held him, even though he had a curse placed upon him to make him fail his action and roll a 1. He's so talented, he managed to keep holding tight on that warrior. So you have a prisoner and they have a prisoner, and it seems that somehow you've been found out by Crimson. The person who's controlling Vercingetorix revealed himself to be Crimson, the dead Hermes that died in the care of the Neo Hermes a few days back. So currently, that's where we were. Oliver, you're still playing you're still inside of Caesar's doctor's body, and you've seen all of this fight. What was your character doing and trying to do while all of this was happening?
I'm not entirely sure how the fight progressed, so right now I guess he'll just be playing doctor, and if Caesar is galloping towards the fortress, gallop after him.
Okay. So you're heading towards the fortress now. I'm going to ask, since you're trying to get there quickly, Philip, are you trying to get to Elysia before the Vercingetorix does?
Most definitely.
Hmm?
Most definitely. Sorry.
Oh, okay. No.
It's picking me up. I got a mic, but I don't think it's working.
That's better.
Yeah. You can.
Alright, I guess it's picking up this mic. Let me go into my settings. I got a much nicer mic, and I was like, oh, I'm so excited to use it.
And now it's lagging a little bit.
Oh, boy.
Say something now.
Hello. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it sounds okay. I'm getting just a little bit of a lag at some moments, but I think it might be the internet connection. Anyways, yeah, you're trying to get inside of the city before they do. Do you have the domain horses for horse riding or not?
I believe I do.
We mentioned some players. We mentioned some players taking it. Okay, cool. Can you roll for drive for me, please?
Right. Oh.
Okay. So yeah, you. So here's what happens. You are you get close to the wall, and what you didn't realize is that the gongs seem to have laid some traps around the wall of Elysia. Normally, based on what you studied of history, the Romans was the ones who did this on their side of the wall. You don't remember there being any mention historically of those traps, and you're you're going to you arrive, you're galloping towards one of them, and under your horse's hooves the ground starts to collapse. Can you roll for, let's see, either dodge? Yeah, can you roll for dodge to get out of the way before the trap? Yeah.
I'll take that darkness.
Okay. So you. Okay, so mark a darkness dead, and you manage to get off of the horse and roll to the side as the horse like falls into the pit, and you can see the last instance of its life as like spikes from within the pit pierce its flesh. And but because you failed your riding test, the goals are going to make it there before you. Oliver, you arrive. You still have a horse. You can still make it to the city if you roll a 12 on riding, but the Caesar is stopped before the gates. What do you do?
I can't make it to the horse if I roll a 12 because I don't have the riding domain.
Okay, so
I'm just taking my time trying to figure out how a horse works while I'm riding on it.
All right. So in the back we have Caesar's doctor who's like sitting like facing the like the head is to your back. Okay.
Is Lucius riding with them?
Yes, Lucius, you were riding with them. Basically, each of you took on one of the warriors for just 2 rounds before they started retreating. All of you held your ground, and the players who were present did some influence the fight. So yeah, you were with them. What would you do?
I want to ride and see if I can kind of like scoop Caesar up onto my horse. Do one of those like really cinematic side roll things where I just go and scoop up and put on my horse.
Okay.
And just keep going.
All right.
Looking for traps.
That is probably going to be a ride check and a strength check, both of which.
Wait, you say strength.
Yeah, if you want like
a strength check, then I can't really do it.
Yeah. If you want to like grab someone who's like wearing armor and stuff, yeah, you're gonna and heave him onto your horse. That's gonna need some strength.
Is there any chance that like
you
could make a strength check instead of
Yeah, sure. Caesar could try to get onto your horse as you're riding by. That would be, I think, more athletics to like climb while the horse is riding. Theo, do you want to attempt that?
Sure thing.
Okay, roll for athleticism. Yeah.
That's really good.
Okay, so this is just like that scene from Lord of the Ring where there's like Gimli riding with a horse into battle, and Legolas just like makes a cool jump and like gets onto the horse. Okay, now to see if you make it in time, Lucius, roll to arrive. Drive. You do have the horses.
I do. I have
domain.
horses domain, and I have drive, which is pretty good.
Okay.
No bonus or minus to this, just regular?
Yeah, just regular. But if you do 12, you can make it to the city on time. All right.
I totally made that.
Yeah. So, you are...
Yeah!
Yeah. So, like, you're charging, and you have Caesar with you, and you reach the gates of the city, and you can see there are warriors there. The Gauls are waiting there. They have archers, they have their warriors with their swords, and and there's the population of Gauls too, some of which can take arms. Basically, you're heading straight for an enemy fort, and you're riding in. Is that I guess it makes sense for Lucius because you have a lot of you have a drive to go towards danger because of your link to Capricorn. But is there any hesitation in Caesar? Theo?
I mean, there would definitely be some natural hesitation, but with everything going on, I think Philip would just, take a deep breath and try and go with it. He's in it to save Stefan. He's in it to get his friend back and make sure everything turns out okay. So I think there'd be like that initial, obvious hesitation, but nothing more than that.
Okay.
Has Lucius had any time to disguise himself as one of the people from, like, one of the opposing guard or anything like that?
You mean change your clothes so that you don't look like a pirate? Yeah.
I want to look like an enemy, actually.
That would not have. That would have proven difficult. You didn't have the same leather tunics that they had. There are some illusion spells.
I don't really have any of those for straight illusion, but he does have a lot of really good magic and disguise skills. So I'm wondering if he could disguise himself as like a non-combatant or maybe a woman or something like that.
That would take you more time than you have. You're basically just like charging in on one of the horses.
I'm wondering if he had time to do that beforehand.
No.
Okay. Just wanted to ask. Okay. Okay. That limits my options.
So, okay. What about Chris? Chris, you have a prisoner. You've caught one of them. You've immobilized them. And your enemy is if you want, you can just render him unconscious or kill him or whatever. What do you do?
Well, how far away are the rest of our men from where we are?
Okay. Basically, from what I know of the map, that was 18 miles. The no man's land is going to be 2 miles wide in some places. So the place where you met in the middle was sort of about half a mile away from your camp and half a mile away from Elysia, because it was a close point, basically.
All right, so is it safe to assume that we would have had people standing ready, waiting for us to signal them if it went horribly wrong? Yeah,
you have parts of the camp, you have the cavalry that's heading straight for you. In fact, they're about to reach your position. what do you do?
Okay, so I will just knock this guy out. That
Okay.
I have.
All right. So yeah, you put him in a chokehold, and with your knowledge of martial arts and how to take care of an enemy, you knock him out. And afterwards,
I will signal to whichever of the riders seems to be coming the quickest and the most adept to come past me, and I will also jump onto the horse when he comes by.
Okay. Go ahead and roll athleticism to jump on the horse, and if you succeed, you are going to pass Oliver by. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. You're also able to jump on one of the horses and head towards the city of Elysia. Unfortunately, because you didn't have the same head start, and the doors have started closing, you might not make it in by the time that the doors completely close. It depends on whether or not the others can keep the door open. So, Lucius and Philip, you Vercingetorix and his 4 warriors that are still with him have made it into the walls of the city, and you're about to arrive there. The doors are slowly closing, but there are archers on the wall. They're pointing their arrows at you, and they're going to shoot at you as soon as you get within range. Do you do anything special before you get into range?
I don't have a shield, do I?
I don't believe you do, but you can definitely have armor to give you some protection against the arrows. That would if you have Roman military armor, we can say you have 2 points of protection, but it's still dangerous.
Yeah. Okay. Then I'll just make sure that my direction of going is zigzaggy, so it's a little harder to hit me.
Okay. Well, Lucius is driving the horse.
Yeah. If we need to go someplace, just tell me. I'm happy to oblige. That's not a problem. But what I want to do is put on that free motion, can't be restrained verse. It's called Surmount the Rules, I believe.
Yes, you're using Sun Wukong's verse.
So he'll say, Flippy gratis DC Scintia Melinas Transcendence Congite Oriditent Iridum Facitis Olindolorlis as Quant Honmina Cominis.
Okay.
And then he can't be restrained. In case he gets pulled off his horse or something like that, then he can still move around the battlefield and people can't stop him. I think that's a good one.
So yeah, you become a sort of uncatchable blur for a couple of turns. How long does this last?
Last until you leave the battlefield, it says.
Oh,
that's by physical or magical means. Last until you leave the battlefield.
That's really that's a really good one. Okay, you can still be attacked, though. It's just you can't be caught. You can't be nobody can stop you from going where you want. The verse, though, might not wouldn't apply to Philip if somebody tries to get Philip off the horse. So, I
lose 1 life for that, right?
Yes.
I marked 1 life. Okay.
Yes. For you, it's life points that you have to spend. Okay. In this case, the archers are going to attack both of you. Lucius, are you wearing Roman armor? Because you were with the rest of the group who went to Parley.
Yeah, I think he would have gone as a same team Roman armor. But what he's really looking forward, what he would want to be doing is wearing the opposite people's armor, or somebody that looks like he could fit into a camp.
Maybe.
Opposite. So if he would give up the armor for a better disguise. He can have a better disguise.
Okay. Maybe that's something that you can prepare when you have time. When you have time off, if your characters retreat or something.
Okay, otherwise, armor.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so since you're on a horse, each of you can try to dodge the blows, the arrows, but you're doing this at a -6, and each of you is going to get shot 4 times before you can make it to the door.
Get any bonus due to my drive or anything like that?
Yes, you in fact can try to roll for drive instead of dodge at -6 to avoid the arrows, because you can try to like maneuver the horse out of the way of the arrows and seeing their trajectory. So you can roll this instead of dodge at no penalty.
Well, my dodge is better, but I'm wondering if I kind of tactically move the horse in some direction, could we both get a minor or less negative to both of our dodges, or is by like really driving the horse instead?
Okay,
or
yeah. You know what? If you okay, so roll.
I want to protect Philip if I can.
Gotcha. Here's what I'm gonna do. If you succeed the driving test at -6, both of you don't get the penalty for being on the horse to dodge.
Okay, well that sounds very fair. So yeah, I'm gonna make my driving check.
At -6.
Here we go. Wish me luck. At -6. Okay.
Bad luck. Or sorry, good luck.
22.
Nice.
That's a critical. That's like the best I could do.
Yeah, that's an open roll. That's really good. So yeah, you you're not only do you become a blur with your verse, but yeah, you're like maneuvering the horse around. You're more used to bikes and cars, but it seems like the horse is responding to your to your nature as a part of the Capricorn, or as someone who's interested, who has piqued the Capricorn's interest. So
it's totally due to my horoscope.
All right. So both of you can roll dodge. Okay. So they are humans. So it's only one. It's only the light point that counts. Okay. So this was for Phil. Phil, can you roll 1 dodge, please?
Mm-hmm. No difficulty, just a straight roll?
Yeah, just a straight roll. You need to roll higher than 14. And same for... okay, so Theo, you do you take the light or darkness dice?
The darkness
I'll take the
is pretty
dark.
tempting.
You take the darkness? I should warn you. I rolled a 14, so...
Oh, so it won't matter either way.
Yeah, you get hit either way.
Oh.
Well,
so you take 2 points of damage because your armor blocks some of the power of the arrow. And Lucius, can you make at least 1 dodge, please?
just one, or
yes?
I'm happy to. Okay, 19.
Okay. You on the other hand are able to dodge those arrows, just like moving to the side when the arrows are coming. It's harder for I think what happens probably is that at some point you are ducking and Caesar doesn't get to react on time and just like gets the arrow pierces the a weaker part of your armor. You make it through the gates and you find yourselves in the middle of an enemy camp. There were a lot of warriors who had assembled to see the parley and who were present there. And to the side, you see Vercingetorix and his riders. They're settling, and they turn around to you, and you see Vercingetorix pointing to his men and saying, "Close those doors!" And you hear the rumbling of wood as the doors behind you start to close slowly. You see the men next to the door who are pushing the doors closed. And there are warriors around your horse. Where did Chris go?
I'm here.
Okay. I don't see you in Roll20 anymore. So
I'm not in Roll20, but I'm here.
Okay. So behind you, Philip and Lucius, you can see that you've got the cavalry heading your way, but they are few in number, fewer than the people inside of Elysia are. They might not be able to win against them in a battle, but you might not be going for a win right now. So what do you do?
I would like to pull my sword.
Okay.
And put it in a position where it would be in front of the general's neck if I teleport directly behind him.
Okay.
And I'm going to teleport right behind him, hopefully with the sword directly in front of his neck, and I'll say, stand down.
Okay, that's really good. So, let's see. Yeah, you're trying to have someone at weapons point. Let me check. I think you're going to go for intimidation at +3.
Intimidation. Okay, let me.
It's leadership.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah,
I have to check what that score is for me again.
It's leadership that does these sort of things.
Yeah, there's my character sheet. 1 moment. It just got cut off for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So intimidate an opponent. It's leadership versus the opponent's willpower.
I have to find where intimidation is. Well, I have persuasion. I have that's probably not the right one. Clairvoyance. I'm trying to find where intimidation is.
It's the third column, all the way at the top. Okay.
Still.
Or
willpower, strategy, and leadership.
Yeah, leadership is the intimidation one.
Oh, leadership! I have a 0 in leadership.
Okay. Your other option is to make two attack rolls. Yeah, you're trying to brawl with this person, so it's.
I have a 0 brawl.
Okay. So it's.
You can still roll multiple 12s.
Is there anything I can do to boost my score by taking something different, like
I think
laying initiative or something like that?
Okay, so yeah, you can lower your initiative by taking the primes and penalty, and I think right around now is a good time for us to start rolling for initiative for this new combat. So Philip, Lucius, and Crimson are going to roll for a new initiative. Actually, yeah. Everybody can roll for it, and we'll know when your characters act later.
Initiative, is that reflexes?
Yeah, that's reflexes. I have, and you divide it by 2. So that is.
Oh, I didn't divide by 2. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just rolled.
It's okay. It's you can just divide it by 2, like at the end. So Philip, you got a 8.5. Wait, yeah, yes. I'll let everyone change this on their on the initiative thing. Lucius, you got a 9. And Chris, you take you're still balanced, so you can take your 10. Okay. So you just got hit by arrows, so it's going to be after Crimson's turn. So Philip, you are the first to act in the combat that you're in right now. Lucius rolled high. Yeah. So Lucius. Yeah, if you want. Okay, so 2 things. If you teleport behind someone, I'm going to give you a +6 to try to take him hostage with your brawl. But that might not be enough to actually like take him hostage, you might enter a fight instead. If you fail with a +6.
I'm willing to give that a shot.
Okay.
I guess the stakes are high enough, and he can't really be restrained, so I think he might be in a decent position for. Well, he's trying to bluff. Like he's trying to.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not really planning on slitting this guy's throat. He's trying to act like he's like, I'm an actor now. Like I've got you, you know.
Okay.
But that's kind of. He's not really a violent person, so he would be using whatever his stage acting or magic, whatever he could do for that. But so am I rolling leadership at +6 then?
Okay, no, I think instead I'm getting you to roll subterfuge against the willpower, but because you're not trying to be like you're trying to fake it all, but you don't get the same bonus. Okay. You only get a +3. So go ahead and roll against willpower.
So this is a +3.
Yeah. Subterfuge check. Whew.
Yeah.
Oh, you wrote plus in the little box that made you roll. But you can keep your roll if you want. You rolled way more than I did.
I'll keep it. Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
what. Well, actually, he got a max, didn't he?
Hmm?
He got a max. Yeah. Okay, I'll keep that. That'll be over at least.
You can keep rolling 12s, but yeah, you rolled a 12 and an 11 in your light thing, plus all of your bonuses.
He's gonna keep that. He's keeping that for sure.
Okay, cool. So you teleport behind him with your sword at his throat after using your verse, and there's a pause.
Stand down, your men, or you lose your head.
He raises his hands, and his men sort of freeze around him. The ones who are moving to block the gate are also frozen by your performance, but Vercingetorix, and a lot of them are whispering about witchcraft and like shocked by what just happened. They're very intimidated. Philip, it's your turn. What do you do?
Oh boy. Okay, so Stefan is still blocked off. I can't see him at all, right?
You cannot see him from here. It seems he's been taken off of. He's been dragged off of the top of the wall to houses. He's probably in a group of houses to the side of the gate.
Okay. And do I have people coming towards me, or is it still kind of clear path just to go? I'm still on the horse, aren't I?
Yes.
Okay.
You're the one who's riding the horse now that Lucius teleported off of it.
Okay, that's right. Okay, yeah, I was like, wait, there's a horse.
Yeah. The only people who are still moving right now are the people who are pushing the gate closed behind you.
Okay.
And Oliver, who's riding very slowly up a hill.
Yeah, and like Chris is also heading this way with his people. So, what do you do? I would advise everyone to have a look at the powers that you have, because this is one of the hardest fights I've ever put you into. If you have use every advantage that you have, like what Lucius did was really good, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm going to say to myself, for I never go astray on the path where there is no return, because that's burned me way too many times not to do it.
Yeah, you know you're heading straight into battle, so you're like, okay, I might as well not die.
Exactly.
All right, so spend one light karma. Okay. What about Philip? What do you do?
I'm gonna pull in a little extra help, and I will say Alexander approaches the horse, takes the reins, and turns its head towards the sun, for he has observed that it is frightened of its own shadow, which imitated all of its movements. And I will cast Shadow.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. Can you tell everyone what it does?
Until dawn, upon my next physical attack, my shadow rises and attacks with the same stats and modifiers.
Okay.
That is terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For 1 point of darkness, you can do double damage. And if you are, for example, taking the prime to do heavy damage, you could just straight up kill a person instantly, because you would be doing 6 damage with the heavy prime, or 12 against the United Trinity, and then it would be double. So you have a chance of like just killing someone in one turn with this attack.
Yeah.
Anyone, as long as they're not wearing armor. And you have Ares's, and you have the Ares aura to do bonus attacks too. So that is terrifying when you do it.
I want to see what happens here. That's
Okay.
really cool.
Do you do anything else?
Is there anybody near that needs a good attack?
Yes.
You found?
Like you can easily guide your horse to attack either the archers, the people closing the door, or the riders who just came in, and Vercingetorix. But he's at like weapons point right now.
Mm-hmm. Let's do the people closing the doors.
Okay. Go ahead and roll for weaponry. Are you specialized in Alexander's verse or not?
I have no idea.
Did you click the little box for specialization under it?
No.
Okay, which means this took you an action to do. So when you attack, you roll at -3. Do you take any primes and penalties?
What was the one that you mentioned where I could get those really good hits?
Heavy damage.
Okay, and so what would be the penalty for that one?
Whatever you want.
Here we go.
So you're taking the heavy prime that does plus 50% damage. You can make it easier to dodge with Underwhelm. You can put yourself in danger for the next attack that's going to go against you. You can abandon an advantageous position, like jumping off of your horse and losing the advantage of being on top of your horse and maneuverable. Or you can slow down and have -3 to initiative, for example.
I'll slow down.
Okay.
And take a heavy hit.
Okay. So your initiative is now going to be 5.5. Yep.
Is it just for one turn or for the rest of the battle?
It's for the rest of the battle.
Oh shit! Maybe not that one. I don't know. Ugh.
You're already going after the enemies, so as long as you don't go below 0, and it shouldn't change that much things. But you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a bad one to take right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
Usually it's one that the players like to take, but it's also a good strategy to take the opposite one and to gain initiative, because if you reach 12, you can act at that initiative and then act back at 1. Basically, you can act a second time this turn if you go over 12. So. That's something for Chris, who's really, really fast. That's something Chris could do. Okay, so
do I still roll at a -3?
No, you don't roll at a -3. You do. You do, because you had your thing, and you're going to roll with -3 twice because your shadow is attacking as well.
Okay, so 2 rolls or -6?
Two rolls at -3.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, those guys aren't warriors.
Darkness.
Oh.
Darkness is calling you.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. But you've got a great light. You one darkness and one light. You're great.
Sophia, you always have great darkness rolls these days, and that could like literally kill a man in an instant. Do you take your darkness dice? You're using a darkness verse to have your shadow attack people and stuff.
Yeah, I'll take the darkness.
Okay, right, and yet another. How many in debt are you?
This will be my 12th.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Okay. Yeah. You ride up to one of the people who's closing the gate and strike at them, and then your shadow like rises up, materializes as if it was like next to you, and strikes in exactly the same way. And then there's panic. There's screams from the warriors who are present, who are terrified by what you've just done, abandoning their some of them abandoning their posts. Your powers are making the army react very very poorly. But those 5 riders who are inside, they are still they're still able to react. So, Chris, you and Oliver are going to reach the gate. Basically your cavalry sort of picks up Oliver, and Oliver, your horse starts to because it's a military horse, starts to gallop with the rest of them, and you're all going to reach the combat at this turn. So Chris, it's your initiative. You're charging through the gate, and there's warriors around you. There's the confusion I described, and there's Vercingetorix and his 4 warriors. What do you do?
First, I ask you a question. I'm wondering about the someone or something verse that I have.
Yes. It only for one person at a time.
Okay, so I don't... Does it... How long does it last?
I believe it's a couple of turns. Just give me 1 second.
It says duration is instant, but I didn't know if that means that's how long it activates, or is it just one pulse and then it's over?
Okay, so duration. Wait, hold on. It's the one that allows you to intimidate someone instantly, and then if you.
No. Someone or something is the one perceive any danger, and its nature determined by GM. Range includes the entire structure or topographical feature.
Okay. Yeah. So you would be aware of every enemy unit and traps and things like this in Elysia, and a little bit around it. So you could know how many forces there are and feel the danger coming from those places. And then it doesn't stay on. It's just you have this awareness when a vision when you cast the verse.
Okay, so it's just one pulse, and then I have to remember where everything was.
Yeah.
And if after I did it, somebody decided to try to shoot me, I wouldn't get any alertness of that because of it becoming a danger. Because it's not in other words, it's not an ongoing thing that will constantly alert me whenever someone's shooting at me to let me dive out of the way or anything like that.
It's a trap detection power, or it's an ambush detection power. So right now, if I have a trap laid out for you on top of everything else, that would be cruel. But you'd become aware of it by casting this power.
All right. Yeah. No, it's not worth my only 2 points to do it. So what I want to do is, as we are riding through, is he riding directly through the gates?
Yeah.
All right. So, and how far away from where the gates are is Vercingetorix? He is going to be 10 meters away. By making a simple ride check, you can reach him this turn throughout all of the confusion of the warriors running around and charging happening. Okay, and it does appear that the pirate Street is in has him at weapons point?
Yes. Or has him and his warriors intimidated?
Okay. Well, I don't really have intimidate, so that's not going to work. The only thing I can do is carry out the threat. I can't make them fear the threat. I can only demonstrate the threat to them. So I will. My attempt will be to jump from the horse onto wherever they are, and essentially just seize one of his warriors, preferably whoever seems to be his, main guy or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I want to attack him.
Okay. Right.
Like attack like hit or attack like grab?
Yeah. What are you trying to push him off of his horse?
No, I'm going to take him hostage.
Okay. So so you're going to do 2 attacks. So you're at -3 for each attack.
Yes.
And yeah, go ahead and make the rolls while he tries to defend himself. Yep.
Booyah! Nice. Nice job there.
And do the second roll. Chris? Oh, you got it.
Okay. There we go.
All right. So yeah, you charge in, and this. What do you take him hostage with?
Okay, so I want to basically, as I leap off the horse to where he is, I want to roll and then do a quick little part of the Ginga Dance where I shuffle from one side to the other, and then leap up and essentially just get him in a rear naked choke.
Okay.
My desire ultimately is to prevent him from breathing and thus speaking, while simultaneously demonstrating that I can either choke him out or snap his neck at any moment that I choose.
All right. He is going to attempt at his turn, which comes afterwards, to attack you with his like elaborate warrior sword. So go ahead and roll for. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to either roll for dodge or weaponry if you have a weapon to parry this.
I think that the idea is that he has to get out of the hole before he can attack, right?
Let me check that, but I do believe that since you didn't disarm him like you usually do when you like basically your first attack was grab him and the second one was take him hostage, correct? Or did you want to disarm him instead?
Well, whether he's got a sword in his hand or not, my vision was getting him in the choke, so it's a split second to basically snap the neck or choke somebody out. Yeah. And I understand that doesn't jive properly with the whole damage and all that stuff, the way the system works. Mm-hmm. So that was my intention, was essentially to put him in a situation where he realized that if you make a move, you're never going to be quick enough to stop the inevitable. But if that doesn't work, then
gotcha.
I mean, I can roll a reflex or dodge if you want.
Wouldn't there at least be a pretty negative attack on this? Because I mean, he's behind him with the chokehold, and the sword doesn't really go that direction very well.
So that's why I'm like that's what I was trying to say. The rules say this: when you try to overpower an opponent, when you succeed, you immobilize an opponent by twisting their arm, holding a knife under their throat, or holding their arm still. You can now do the following actions. It seems like you're trying to take a hostage. So the opponent becomes your shield and offers a -4 penalty to anyone trying to hit you. Anyways, they also take the risk penalty and hit your shield if they fail their attack. Which means this person can try to attack you, and if he fails and you dodge, he's going to hurt himself instead.
Okay, so what do I have as a minus to my dodge?
You do not have a minus. It's not like anima. You don't have a penalty for holding someone. Okay. So yeah, you are. He tries to stab you, and I think you're able to grab his hand and turn his sword around him, and and he starts to bleed. You do. He deals himself 8 damage with this.
Where?
Probably in the if he tried to stab back like this, it's probably his own shoulder that's hit right now.
Nice job, by the way.
Even if it's no damage, I'll just manhandle him a little bit during that exchange to emphasize the futility of his attempt.
All right. Okay. So the Crimson's men, they all look at each other, and the ones who haven't attacked you, they look at each other, and they okay. So they are going to say, where he treads, the grass grows not. And you can see that there's a dark aura that forms around their weapons, and anyone who wants can do an astrology check to know what this power is, if you have points in astrology and you want to guess that.
No points.
No. So,
yeah, no points, and that's showing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have none. I'm just roll in case I get a 12.
I think it's one of those closed skills. Does Oliver have any points in it?
Nope.
No? Okay, yeah. Stefan is the only one who knows how to identify verses. What basically the charging soldiers are going to start fighting with the ghouls. The only people that you have to take care of are Vercingetorix and his 4 soldiers, which means that there's 1 of you for each of them, and then there's going to be 2 of them for one of you, and I think they are afraid of Chris now, because Chris took out one of them earlier. So Chris, there's going to be a second one attacking you, and then there's going to be one. I think Vercingetorix is going to charge Caesar.
But don't I have a sword around his neck?
Hmm? Oh yeah. You. So instead, yeah, he's gonna. He's gonna try to basically try to defend himself against your sword and then attack you. So he does have. He's in an advantageous position, so he's gonna have a -3 for this. But roll for dodge, please.
Okay. Me?
Yes.
Lucius? Okay.
Yes.
Straight dodge roll?
Yeah.
I think 26 is pretty good.
Yeah. You.
Shit.
The two of you start dueling, and you don't take any damage.
It's like he's trying to poke me with a dagger,
Yeah.
and I'm doing this hip thing back and forth, like one side to the other side, tagging, like a lambada or something behind him.
Okay. Phillip, Oliver, and Chris. Each of the remaining ones is going to attempt attacking you once. Chris, since this is your second defense, you're at -3.
Okay. And he's at -4.
No, it's not the same person. It's yeah. He's at -4, and he might hit his friend. Oh God. I'll do Phillip, Oliver, and then Chris in the attacks.
Okay.
You said defense?
Yeah, either weaponry or dodge.
I'm gonna do weaponry.
So, 19
Oh
against.
shit!
Okay, 19 against Philip. Philip, you're fighting like a boss. You're protecting you like you're fighting back. You're probably fighting like a Hermes, but he doesn't. He seems to be more of a scholar than a fighter. Oliver, you match the opponent precisely, and so the defender wins on draws. So you're having more difficulty, but you're also fighting back the one that you're attacking. And the last one does not even succeed. So he stabs his friend in the arm, trying to attack Chris. So. Yeah.
You're gonna need a new hostage pretty soon. Chris is gonna need a new hostage pretty soon.
And that hostage is also going to start spending points to try to heal himself because he's in a pretty bad spot. That's it for my turn. It's now Lucius's turn.
Goodness gracious.
You're dueling Vercingetorix in the middle of Elysia in a breakthrough into the city that's never happened historically like this. What do you do?
Now, so basically we're dealing with 4 or 5 people?
Yes, five fighters at the moment.
Okay, I'm happy to continue kind of doing this little hip dance around Vercingetorix, and so I think I'm going to blind somebody else. Actually, if I blind him, what happens? Will he get a minus on his attempts?
The rules are really not clear about this, but I'm going to apply a disadvantageous position, a -3 to all of his rolls after that.
Okay, I'll blind him.
Okay.
And then I'll write down my blood. I'll take that out.
Okay.
So that'll give me 2 injuries. But yeah, I'm going to blind him and continue to hold him. And if I can, I'm going to yell out. Because I understand Latin, I'm going to yell in Latin because they should understand that.
You automatically speak the main language of the person whose body you inhabit. So all of your characters know Roman. Latin.
I'm going to yell, and I'm going to attempt subterfuge if I can. Like, you cannot defy the gods. We are invincible. Kneel and bow before Caesar, as loud as he can.
This really feels more like you're trying to intimidate someone. So go ahead and roll for leadership. And hope you roll a 12, I think. But you're also at a -3 because you cast a verse this turn.
Oh, so basically
you need to roll a 12 and basically open roll with another 3 at least after that.
It's almost a worthless attempt then.
But intimidation is not your best. It's not your strong suit, basically.
Is there a way I could do it in persuasion?
No, that's
like let down your arms and you shall all be spared.
No, that's the game wasn't designed around that option as much.
Darn it! Okay,
Subterfuge is really good for doing feints. Basically, you can deprive your opponent of their next defense. They're unable to defend against your next attack if you successfully roll higher with your subterfuge than their defense.
Oh, okay. Well, then I can do subterfuge, and I can say, stab me again, I will slit your throat.
A feint?
Just to the guy I have, just to the general.
Okay, yeah.
Would that be reasonable?
Yeah, I think like a feint is also like, you pretend you're gonna attack on one side and next turn you're gonna attack on the other side instead. So, where is it? Oh yeah, here it is. Subterfuge. Oh, it's against my tactics. So, yeah, go ahead and roll subterfuge.
Okay. Straight up roll.
Yes.
21.
Okay. He's going to be unable to defend next turn. Oh, I should have given you -3, but that's still a success. Okay. And you also blinded. All right, Oliver, it's your turn. You also have powers. What do you do?
You said there's people with glowing black weapons.
Yes, it's the four people who are attacking you. The 5 people who are attacking you. One of them is charged at your. Charged at you. I don't know if you're still on the horse or not, but he is.
Is getting off the horse an action?
Technically, no. It would count as abandoning an advantageous position if you wanted to use it for a free prime.
Actually, sure. That sounds like an excellent idea.
Okay.
So I'll do that. I'll get the efficiency.
Okay.
But first, I'm going to make a wild assumption that dark injury around a blade is probably a dark verse.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say, I cultivate my kingdom, or I'm going to point at the sword, I guess, and say, I cultivate my kingdom as I cultivate my garden. By my own hands, I shall eradicate the weeds. And I'm really hoping that's a dark verse that just disappears.
Yes. That verse disappears, and it's really good because it's a verse that stops you from healing naturally from the wounds that you get from this weapon, from this enemy, and it's also what's it called? And if you spend karma to heal from it, every point of karma only heals 1 life point. So it's a pretty devastating thing if they hit. Okay, so yeah, yours won't do permanent damage. You do, yeah, and you're going to do something else this turn.
Yeah, I'm going to hit it with a sword.
Okay,
After
go
I
ahead.
jump off the horse.
Yeah, go ahead
So
and
that's
roll
just a flat
for weaponry.
Take the darkness. I suppose he'll take the darkness too.
Yes.
Doesn't really matter.
Yes, you're balanced, but yeah, he is like 2 of you are dueling. Did you take the +3 from? You did not.
It canceled out the.
Oh yeah, the second attack. Yeah, because you're
minus from the second action.
Yeah, because you're not specialized. Okay, Philip, it's your turn. What do you do?
Do I go again? Because this is technically the same round.
Oh, is it?
Because my initiative got lowered.
That was the previous round, I believe.
What's your new initiative?
5.5.
My new initiative is a 5.
Yeah.
So
That was there's been a new turn since you've been attacked since.
okay.
Yeah. So it's your turn. What do you do?
Let's see. Are there still people blocking my way, or?
There is one who charged up to you to fight you.
Okay. I guess we'll try and take him down, my shadow and I.
That was a one-time thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, basically you activate it and it does an extra attack during a turn.
Can you do it again?
Yes. Here's the thing, though. It's most useful if you cast it before a fight, or if you're specialized in the verse. This way, you don't get the penalty for doing the 2 actions. In fact, if you activate in combat, it's the same as doing 2 attacks.
Okay.
Except that it can get your other modifiers, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll just attack this guy normally. I've got pretty good weaponry.
Okay. You want to attack? How many times do you want to attack?
Let's do 2 attacks.
Okay. And do you want to do? Do you want to take a prime and a penalty?
Nah. I'll just go at it.
Okay. So this one's.
So, is the first one a straight roll and the second one -3?
Both of them -3.
Okay. I always forget how it works. Oh, come
Ooh. Is
on.
not good.
Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah.
At least 1.
Yeah.
that's
So
great.
So yeah, you've hit yours for 5 damage. No, 9 damage.
9 damage to me?
No, to him because he's
okay.
yeah. You're good.
Like, oh shit.
Okay. Chris, it's your turn on the new initiative. Yeah, you still have your hostage, and he is really wounded from his attempt at attacking you and his friend's attempt at attacking you. He's on the verge of passing out. What do you do?
Do you have leadership?
Yes, I do. I have to attack. I have to try to overpower an opponent before I can disarm him.
Okay. So you already overpowered him and you took him hostage. So you have those 2 things. But yes, if you want to, if you wanted to, like, if you're charging a person, you need to overpower that person before you can use the hostage's equipment, which is like taking this person's weapon.
Oh no! What I want to do is, so strangle is a unique action.
Yeah.
What does that mean exactly?
It means it's the only thing you can do during the entire turn. You can't take other actions, but it does an automatic success.
Well, then that's a full action.
Yeah, that's what they're called in this game.
Okay.
It's a translation.
Gotcha. So I can't actually just do a strike to try and kick a sword out of somebody's hand.
You can. That is use the hostage's equipment. Basically, like, get his sword out of his hand and throw it. That is a normal action, and you could.
Okay, I don't want to take the sword out of the hostage's hand.
Yeah.
He's already been rendered essentially useless.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to do is I want to kick one of the guys who hasn't been attacked, who is free, and looking like he might be thinking about attacking me with his sword. I want to kick his sword out of his hand, but I don't want to let go of the hostage. So is that possible?
That is possible. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do it as if you were overpowering him and using his weapon. But at the end of the turn, you're gonna lose that grip. But if you succeed with both of them, you are able to disarm him. This way, we're using the rules properly. Okay. Like, basically, you're grappling one of them, putting his hand behind his back, maneuvering him, and grabbing the other person's weapon and disarming them. Okay. So that's.
So if it succeeds, I'll be able to disarm the new guy and keep my grip on the old guy.
Yes.
I don't want to give up the hostage. Okay.
But you won't be able to grip the new guy at the end of the turn.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to keep the guy I have, but disarm that other guy.
Okay, so go ahead and roll 2 attacks at -3, and
okay.
I get a -3 on the second one. Okay, so you need to pass against 18 and then 14.
Okay, so the check against the 14, against the 18, the first one.
Yeah, that is a success.
Nice.
Is it possible for you to fail these?
Yes, if I roll a 1.
He's amazing at this.
Yeah,
Seriously. Like his belly whack.
Yeah, but having 18 in any skill is really good, and Brawl is very often underrated because it does 1 or 2 points of damage, but Brawl allows you to like just disarm everyone and like basically
like in our initial meeting when I was trying to get away.
I learned very quickly, like, I don't want to actually do attacks with the brawling. I want to do the special combat maneuvers, because that's what really screws them up.
Right.
Yeah, it's the same with my powers. I'm not good at attacking, but I'm good at messing with people.
Okay.
Okay, so I succeeded at both, so...
you disarm him completely. And...
I would like to kick that sword to somewhere in Ethiopia, if possible.
Okay.
Can you kick it to me and I catch it? That would be so awesome.
Oh, you could do this actually if
let's have like dual swords right around the general's neck. That would be really, really cool.
Lucius, you can grab the sword if you roll a reflexes check at -6. If your reflexes are fast enough to like grab a rotating like sword that's flying towards you.
Okay.
But if you fail, you take damage.
Okay, and is there any way I can boost this?
You could take a prime and a penalty.
So which penalty could I take that would still allow me to catch this on time? He wants to just like catch it out of the air and put it in front of the general's neck like it's nothing, and then let the general know that he is so overpowered.
Don't you already have a weapon?
At his neck, yeah, but it would be really cool for him to just snatch it out of the sky and be like, what I'm telling you?
Oh, you're just
already talking about witchery and witchcraft and stuff like that. It's just like these archers and these fighters will never have seen anything like that.
Yeah.
You could probably do risk lose hold of the general if you fail to catch it.
Well,
he leaned out too far.
He's already like fighting with Vercingetorix, so he's already like not like holding him at weapons point anymore.
I'll do it at a -6. No, he had the sword right around his throat, but at this time if he can put another one right there, like what's the general gonna do? I'm just kind of thinking this is an epic roll. I'm happy to take it.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead. Roll at -6.
So I put a minus.
Yes, right? the minus does not make your roll weird. It's the plus that does that.
-6. 20.
Okay. Yeah.
You.
So yeah, you have a second sword now. You know what? I'm
it out of the air, bam, right to the general's neck.
I'm going to be nice. This sword is actually still going to have the dark verse that was cast upon it still remaining for a turn. If you attack with this, it's going to be one of those wounds that do not heal easily.
Oh, I'm definitely going to use it on it.
All right. In their turn, all of the warriors that you're fighting chant in unison, "This refusal is war." And each of you is going to be cursed with the same verse that I used previously. Basically, if your next roll, which is going to be a defense, because they're all going to attack you, your next roll requires that you roll a 12, otherwise it counts as a 1. And they are going to try to stab you with their weapons that from which it's difficult to heal.
Is that a 12 total, or is that a natural 12? Is that a 12 total, or a natural 12?
No, you need to roll a natural 12 so that it doesn't count as a 1. Okay.
Holy jeez.
So Simon, the strangle which was on the guy still had. Does that 2 life points knock him out, or is he still up?
The strangle is a complete action, but you kicked out somebody's weapon, so you couldn't strangle him at the same turn. But he was still immobilized, but you didn't strangle him that turn, so he's still conscious.
Oh, I thought it counts as a full action, which is why I took the penalty to do multiple actions.
Yeah, a full action is it's an action that takes your entire turn and you can't do any other actions. That's why it's different from normal action.
I gotcha. All right, but he's still silenced, so he can't talk.
He's still what?
The guy I have hostage, he's still silenced. Because that's a free action with an automatic success.
Silenced.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't know you were.
The initial attack, I told you I'm going to choke him so he can't speak, because I've learned I don't want these people speaking. Because no matter how overpowered and how much damage we do, it doesn't seem to deter them from just spitting out verse after verse after verse. So it seems like I got to stop him from talking.
Yeah, you didn't. We said you were like overpowering him and taking him hostage. You didn't. You should have. You could have silenced him. Oh yeah, no, it's a free action. That's actually quite powerful. Yep.
Yeah, that's why I did the rear naked choke. So he's choked and restrained. I'm controlling and manipulating him, and he also can't breathe or speak.
Yeah. The breathing, he still can when you're like doing lots of movements, but yeah, like he is in a bad place. He is going to. He's not the one casting the verse. The other one that you're fighting is that you disarmed, and he's going to try to hit you. Now that you've been like the one that you have, he's going to try to hit you again. But since he has a -4, he could stab himself to death. Let's do that now.
That would be so awesome.
Yeah, let's do that. Oh no! I even with the -4, I still succeeded. So. Chris, roll and roll to defend yourself. And if you do anything except that wasn't okay. So you let's see. You had with a 3, you got a 15, which means if you count as a 1, it's a 13. You still block him. You still dodge him, even if you roll a 1, even with the curse. So technically, yeah, he does end up stabbing himself. Okay. Something really, really interesting is about to happen. So we're going to get to that in just 1 second. But before this, I'm going to do the rest of the attacks. So, Philip, roll to defend yourself, please. And then...
and I can roll weaponry or dodge?
Yes. And after that, it's Oliver, and after that, it's Lucius. Lucius, you're going up against one who... Oh yeah, all of them have have penalties. So that's a 13 and a 13. Okay.
Wait, did you say there are penalties on our rolls?
No, there's penalties on my rolls. So both of them rolled a 13. Oliver, you take the darkness dice? Oh no! Wait.
Yes.
Okay. No, you. Yeah. It all counts as a 1 anyways for you.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
It's a good thing I dispelled that verse last turn.
Yeah. You're gonna be able to heal from this. Philip, do you take the darkness again?
Yeah.
To protect yourself because it's a 12. Okay. So you basically like. You have this verse and like you feel like your movements are slowed and like it's going to be super hard to block, and then you somehow still manage to put your sword exactly in the right place to block despite the curse. And like you can see that on the other side of the battlefield, Chris is doing exactly the same thing, and you're both like powering your way through this curse. Oliver, though, you are going to get hit for 8 points of damage because you...
4, since isn't it 4 since I'm not?
Yes, you're not fused. My bad. So it's only 4 points of damage for you.
Yeah, 8 kills me. So.
Does 4 just activate your verse to?
Well, I mean, it won't kill me. It's just bruised right now because I don't think I've taken any damage.
Yes, you haven't up until now. Okay. Now, something really weird is about to happen. The person that Chris was holding hostage, he starts to yell. His head flips back, and you see light pouring out of his mouth and his eyes, and darkness starting to do the same too. And it's as if his whole body becomes enveloped in light, and there's like this sound that's becoming louder and louder, as if he's a nuclear bomb about to explode. The warriors of Vercingetorix and he himself are starting to like move back and away from him, and you see around this person there's two an Archon and a Diva that manifest, made out of pure light and darkness, that appear, and they extend their hands, and you can see things leaving their hands, like an entire structure is starting to appear around them, like architecture is forming out of the light and darkness of their karma. And in the battlefield, in mere seconds, you see a house manifesting where this man's body was. So obviously, like Chris, you're pushed to the side by this thing happening. But here's what happened. I'm actually gonna let you guys figure it out. But yeah, there's now a modern house with a roof and what looks like a telephone pole in the middle of the Elysia's central entrance plaza. Yeah, and it's it's Lucius's turn. What do you do when this sort of thing has happened?
Goodness gracious, that's pretty powerful. Lucius is going to, if he wants to slit the throat of this general, what kind of skill is he going to need to have?
Weaponry. But right now, this general cannot defend himself. So all you need to do is roll a 12 on weaponry to hit him.
Weaponry. Wonderful. Let me check what my skill is on that. I'm pretty sure it's 0. It is 0.
You're not very good with swords. You can,
even though I have 2 of them around his neck, I'm just not that good at it.
As I mentioned, like you started fighting. Here's a thing I can give you, because you had it at his neck before. You have an advantage in the fight, so it's going to. So you get a free prime as if you're abandoning what's it called? Abandoning an advantageous position. So you can get a +3 in exchange for not having your weapons at his in exchange for not having him as a disadvantage anymore, because you had.
I need to roll a 12.
No, you need to roll a 9 or more.
A 9, yeah, but a 12 total. But he can't defend himself. That's good.
Yeah.
Is there another type of thing I can do on top of this?
Not really, because that's already taking a prime and a penalty. You could. There are very rare things that allow you to have multiple primes and penalties. I don't think that you have the skills to try other things. Do you have any verses that could give you a bonus here?
I don't think so. No.
All right.
Really thinking them through, not really. The only thing is I have 2 swords around his neck right now.
Yeah.
So I can get a +3 if I abandon the swords and I try to slit his throat.
Basically, yeah. If you lose the advantage of the position that you're in exchange for that +3.
If I roll properly, will this kill him?
No, if you roll properly, you will deal him 1/3 of his life points.
So it's almost not worth it.
Well, that's how you kill enemies in this game.
Like 1/3 of his life points are gone if I do it right, but then I get rid of my advantageous position.
Yeah, but it's the only bonus that this advantageous position is going to give you. It's going to give you a prime for free.
I mean, you can also just keep him there until Chris or Philip deals with the people they're dealing with and comes and beats on him as well.
I'm going to keep him there. I'm
Okay.
going to tighten the swords and see if I can do anything. If there are any primes I can do to like keep him there even better. He can't defend right now, but I want to make sure that I really have him there until one of the people who can really deal with him gets there. I think that's better.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot going on in the background, but he's going to kind of like really tighten the swords in and then try to use him as a shield for whatever might be coming because he sees this energy coming.
Yeah.
He's going to kind of like cringe behind him and really kind of hold his position.
As like Vercingetorix is trying to fight you, so like he is at a disadvantage because of how you started the fight, but like he is sword fighting you and trying to hurt you. Something like
it seems really difficult to sword fight somebody with two swords around your neck, though.
Yeah,
it's really difficult.
Okay, I should have described this better. Basically, when he started attacking you after he said his verse, he rolled to the side and started attacking you, but he's been at a disadvantage because of like the fact that he had the sword at his neck at the beginning of the fight. So like you still have that bonus. Good night.
You know what? Actually, I am going to split his darn throat. Let's see how this goes.
Okay.
Let's see. So I need to roll a 9 or above.
Yes. So just roll weaponry with a modifier of 3.
And do I just put 3 in?
Yeah.
Not a plus?
Yes.
Okay, people, I'm doing my best here.
I
did it.
Yeah, that's perfect. You slash across Vercingetorix, tearing through his leather armor, and he starts to bleed on the ground, and you see him he has this bestial grin on his face, and he says,
I'm also blind, by the way, remember?
He's not.
I blinded him.
He has like limited eyesight right now, so he does take penalties for defending too. Wait, he failed to attack you when he tried to attack you with his power earlier, so because he rolled very poorly. Okay, that's it for your turn. Oliver, it's your turn. What do you do?
I mean, I guess Oliver is just engaged in a fight for his life right now.
Okay.
Is the one thing still going?
Hmm?
Is the one still going?
The one?
The verse where you always roll a 1?
No, it only lasts for a single action.
Ah, all right.
And they use it to attack you, but they could use it to block you from attacking them as well. They're using it offensively, basically.
I'll just attack him once.
Okay. Go ahead and roll to attack.
And I'll take efficiency for slow.
God. Oh God.
Well,
Like that?
That is some level. That is some really nice defense. You took efficiency against what?
For slow.
Okay, so your initiative is 3.5 now.
Yep. guessing you're taking darkness.
Yes, I am taking the darkness dice here, and yeah, Vercingetorix is not Vercingetorix. Yeah, the person that you're fighting is twirling around extremely fast, and doing like rather well. Okay, Philip, it's your turn. You're the last to act because the other two, Crimson and Oliver, are both already played and lowered their initiatives. What do you do?
So I got all the people out of my way. Can I see the general direction where they are? Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So did I get all the people out of my way with my last attack, or are there still people in my way?
No, I believe you've only hurt. Okay, so hold on, give me 1 second. You've only dealt that person one wound. Like 5 or 9 points of damage, depending on whether they were fused. You still need to hit them one more time to make them unconscious, or twice to kill them.
I'll hit them one more time.
Okay. That's the single thing that you do this turn, or do you want to like do more than one action?
I'll try to hit them, and then use the horse to try and gallop off as quickly as I can.
Okay. So you have 2 actions. Roll first your weaponry at -3.
Ooh.
Oh.
That's nice.
So it's so are you going to take yet another darkness death?
I mean,
At this point,
might as well. Might as fucking well.
all right. Okay. So yeah, write it down, and yes, you're able to strike down this the person in front of you who like falls to the he falls off of his horse groaning, and he's unconscious, but an instant later he's back on his feet. Apparently he has the same verse activated as Oliver does that returns him to consciousness after he falls unconscious. Yeah, I'm putting you up against people who have interesting powers now, so that to make things a bit more challenging.
They're not interesting, they're boring and stupid and should never be there in the first place.
All right, so new turn. The situation behind you is starting to shift. The Gauls are rallying together. They were shocked by the sudden and unexpected attack of the Romans, but now they are forming a barrier. They are starting to push the cavalry that entered their domain out. Behind you, Caesar, your men they don't know what the objective is. They right now they're trying to reach Caesar and listen to his orders, but they seem to be confused as to what are we doing with this attack. But they're still the fact that their own general has entered the fray is boosting their morale. It's just nobody's taken leadership over that group yet, and currently they're a bit disorganized, which is not great for the Roman army because their whole thing is organization. Chris, it's your initiative. What do you do?
All right, so this guy that started spewing forth light and dark, and his divas popped out of him, and he made a house or Doctor Who's thing show up, whatever. So how what's the status of the guy? Because I didn't let go of him, so. Did his head pop off, or?
Basically, like you think you think he must have died. You dealt enough damage that he hitting himself with that sword attack should have killed him, but because he had walls coming out of his body, you couldn't have kept holding on to him. Like, you were pushed to the side, and right now he's in the place where he was must have been what is the center of the house. So if you want to check in on him, you can like try to look through a window or enter the house. That is going to be a search test under Libra, or a notice a vigilance check at -3 because it's passive.
Yeah, it sounds like you're distracting me from the task at hand. So instead, the guy that's been bothering Oliver, he's going to get a foot full of Chris.
Okay. Right. So yeah, you're heading towards. Okay. So that is. I think you are charging. I believe.
Sure. I mean, they weren't all together. Those guys?
You're sort of huddled, but because of the appearance of the house, you have to like maneuver around
So the house popped out of the guy?
Yeah, basically.
All right.
So
as I'm holding on to his head, I got my arm in a complete choke around his head.
And basically,
and
like
this thing's popping out of him, and I'm not letting go of his head. If it's pushing me away from him,
basically,
I don't understand what happens with his head.
Basically, he had walls of the house coming out of his body. So like you can keep your chokehold, and in this case, you would have like had the house on a chokehold. Like you would probably have ended up like grappling the chimney or something, basically.
Okay, so the house, like it was in other words, it was like it was a small house inside him that rapidly expanded.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Which is like
wins.
You've never
exactly.
None of you have ever seen anything like this, but I'm pretty sure some of you can figure out what just happened.
Shenanigans?
This is going to be such a strange verse for the next person that reads it.
Yeah, anyone who comes after this to observe the verse is going to be like, what the fuck happened here? Because that is a modern house.
They're going to ask what happened, and it's going to be like, yeah, don't ask it. No point in explaining it to you.
I'm grabbing the chimney, and the rest is just blowing smoke.
Yeah, I am going to attempt to get to where Oliver is. Now, can I see where Caesar is?
Yes. Okay. So basically, you were pushed to the side with the one that you disarmed. He's about in the same area, and you can see the rest of the fighting happening, like on the other on the like around the corner of the house. Like basically, you're at the corner, and you can see where everybody is.
Okay, so does Caesar look like Caesar's in trouble?
No, he's fighting off his Gallic warrior pretty well. In fact, he almost felled him in the previous turn.
Okay, so I'm gonna charge at Oliver's guy, but I would like to, unless it counts as an action, I would like to turn to the guy I disarmed. And point at him, and just like I'm doing a verse, although I'm not, I'm going to say, though he meant to speak, he suddenly swallowed his teeth.
Oh, that is good. Okay, roll for subterfuge against his astrology, and if you score more than him, he's going to think that you cast a verse he doesn't know on him. That bluff fails. He
good.
Oh, it was no bluff. It was no bluff.
He will swallow his teeth.
He's going to swallow his teeth.
Chimney.
Okay, so actually, roll leadership against my willpower. Actually, my willpower and astrology are the same thing. So roll leadership instead.
Okay, I'll roll it, but I mean, I'm not even trying to threaten him.
Okay.
I'm not trying to intimidate him. All I'm trying to do is make a honest and truthful statement of fact.
And this honest, and in game terms, this honest statement of fact is going to petrify him in fear. You have 3 options with the success you just got. You can. Okay, your target gets one of the following penalties: -3 to their next action, -3 to their next reaction when they're defending, or -3 to their initiative at the end of the turn.
I guess -3 to their action.
Okay. All right. He's gonna have trouble catching up to you and attacking. So that is going to be a free action, then, because that was like really good roleplay. You need to move across the battlefield, and there is war going on. So it's going to be an athleticism check, and then to attack, it's going to be a brawl check. You do both at -3. You make your way across the battlefield, like like you're dodging and somersaulting around like Romans fighting Gauls. Like it's pure chaos, but you make your way to Oliver, you're behind Oliver's opponent's back when you arrive, so you have an advantageous position. What do you do?
All right. I am going to do the grab him and take him hostage.
Okay. Okay. So roll both brawls at -6, and you have a free prime if you want to take a prime for arriving at his back.
I guess I'll take the free prime. I don't know, as a bonus to hit.
Okay, so that gives you a +3 on your first check. So you have a -3 for your first check and a -6 for the second one.
Isn't it just a -3 for both?
No, he also moved.
Yeah, I did the athleticism to move through.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, then you're attacking twice.
But
yes.
But based on his skill, he's still going to make it. Go ahead and make the second check. Oh wait, you're taking him hostage, you said?
Yes.
Okay, that's that you actually don't need. That's an automatic success, actually. So yeah, you arrive behind him and like grab him and start using him as a human shield.
Okay.
That was a success. Lucius, you are next on the initiative. What do you do?
Well, I'm not very good at fighting, so I'm going to see if I can teleport behind the same guy and do the same sword thing again.
Okay.
Grab him. Because I just slashed his throat. So I'm thinking if I teleport behind him and I get the same talk, I can tell him, this is your last chance. Because I just literally dominated him very easily, so I'm thinking that there should be some sort of bonus somewhere.
Yeah, it would give you an advantageous position again, so a free prime to teleport behind him, basically, just like
Okay.
Chris got.
Yeah, I'm gonna teleport behind him with the blades around his neck again.
Okay, so like in game terms, it gives you a free prime. So that's going to be like a +3 because it's hard to like aim where you're going to teleport, but it does give you an advantage. So
Sure, that's fine.
all right.
So is there a roll I need to make, or do I just teleport and do it, or what am I doing here?
You're making a weaponry, and you have a +3 to your check.
Gracious. That's not the best. I've been lucky so far.
I'm sure your luck will hold.
I certainly hope so, because my weaponry is 0 and I have a +3. Well, why not? I'll give it a shot. This might not work.
Yeah, right. I'm not rolling very well today.
Except
Let's
against
see.
me.
Okay, ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
And I just write a 3. Okay.
Huh?
14,
Oh,
I did it.
Yeah, you did it.
Okay.
And
All right. So you're going to strike Vercingetorix once again.
I got the swords around his neck one more time.
Yeah, like I think you managed to slash him across the neck. He's not unconscious, and he's barely standing thanks to the power of his Archon and his Diva. But yeah, you've hurt him pretty bad.
I'm gonna whisper in his ear, "This is your last chance. Surrender."
Okay. So they.
Can I say I'd rather have you as a hostage than dead, but dead is fine by me.
Okay. So you. It's a good thing you're not the one rewriting the verse because that is scary. All right. So. Okay. So you hear. You hear Vercingetorix saying, "They're too strong. Let's let the four of us retreat for now. Our troops can destroy them." And they are they're starting to get low on power, but they are going to use their last points of darkness to say this refusal is war. And they're basically going to try to attempt to disengage from the fight, meaning all of you have the opportunity to attack the ones that you are physically close to.
I'm just going to hold him hostage with swords. If he moves, then I'll slash, but otherwise, I'm just going to hold him hostage.
Okay, you since you didn't roll, you can't hold him hostage the way Chris does, but you can try to hold him off with your weaponry. It's just that you need to roll a 12 or it counts as a 1. The one that's fighting you, Chris and Oliver, he's going to try to use that power on Chris because... Oh, wait... because yes, he's afraid.
Chris.
Yeah. So Oliver, you're gonna get your attack of opportunity without any problems. Actually, this one can only escape Chris's hold. No, he's gonna do 2 actions. He's gonna try to escape Chris's hold and then run away from you. So that is. It's going to be a bit harder for him. Let's start easy. Philip, the one that you're fighting, tries to disengage. Do you attack him?
No.
No? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you let him leave. Lucius, the one that you're fighting, he's going to try to retreat from the fight. Do you try to attack him?
Yeah, I'm gonna. This is the general, right?
Yes, Vercingetorix.
Yeah, give me a chance. I'm gonna see if I can kill him.
All right.
Or at least hurt him so he doesn't feel like he wants to mess with us again.
Okay. If you you need to roll a 12, otherwise your roll counts as a 1.
So, which? It's just a 12, a straight 12.
Yes. So just roll, and if it's is highlighted
Actually,
in green.
Instead of attacking him, can I use a subterfuge roll to say next time is death?
I'll be right back.
That sounds like you're trying to intimidate him with leadership.
Well, I'm trying to use subterfuge because I'm not really able to kill him that easily. So I'm trying to. Well, I mean, I can try, but it seems like my 12 roll isn't. Will I kill him if I get a 12 roll?
Yeah. You at the very least you would make him unconscious.
Okay, I will make that roll.
Okay.
So just any 12 roll.
Yeah. Just roll weaponry at just roll weaponry.
Okay, I gotta find that weaponry. There it is. And no matter what I do, it has to be a 12.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
Oh. Now, do you take your first debt of the game?
I do.
You do?
I do take my first darkness debt.
Oh my god. Okay, so you...
Darkness flow through you.
Yeah. So there's a moment, since this is the first time that you've done this, you basically, every time at the back of your mind, you can feel like there's something that's, trying to advise you, trying to guide you. It's the same voice that talks to you in your visions, and it's the same voice that teaches you those powers you've been using. But now it's trying to influence you in your actions, and for the first time, you listen to it. and attack where it tells you to attack, and you strike down Vercingetorix, making him fall to his knees and fall unconscious on the floor. He's bleeding out. So congratulations on this. Chris, yours.
I'm so badass.
Yours is trying to escape from your grasp, and he's going to take a risk penalty to compensate the fact that he's trying to do 2 actions. Ooh. Okay. Go ahead and can you roll brawl to try to keep him locked? Okay, so.
I sure can.
You sure can. Oh, jeez. Okay, so usually this curse is really helpful to be able to like curse people so that they're unable to succeed. But you guys are doing so many 12s.
So I think we have one of those moments where he turns and twists, and for a brief moment I lose my grasp, but I reapply it to him, and then I backflip over him and reassume the position.
Oh, nice. Okay, great. Yeah, I did declare 2 actions, so he's gonna try the same thing again, but this time, like, it's just gonna be a normal roll. So go ahead again. And yeah, go ahead and make another brawl check, but this time, whatever you roll, you keep.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and you keep your grasp on him. So yeah, this turn they tried to retreat and they all failed. I'm just gonna go back to Theo real quick. I just want to say one thing. If you don't try, if you have the opportunity to attack this person for free, and you have a curse on you, that means that the next time that you do anything, you're going to have this curse activate. So since this is a free action, I would advise that you try to stop him anyways. So at least to break this darkness first.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this guy is like, okay, I give up.
The DM is like, show no mercy.
All right. So Theo, do you want to just attempt to attack him?
Yeah. All right, I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah, that goes really well.
Yeah, that works. That fucking works.
Your face just made me almost spit my water.
my face or Theo's?
Yours, and can't see Theo's face.
Oh my god.
You had the how the hell is this happening face?
Theo, you like you see this person. He tries to like like roll under your horse and like run the other way, and you stab him straight through the neck from the back, and he starts to scream, and light and darkness pour out of his eyes, and in just an instant, you and your horse find yourselves on top of a submarine.
Hello?
Yeah. A submarine just materialized under your feet.
Like a Roman submarine?
No.
Like a Roman aqueduct submarine?
No. Like a Cold War nuclear submarine just materialized
like
under.
A Roman Cold War nuclear
Submarine?
Oh my god, no, it's not yellow.
We all live in one.
Okay. Okay, so I think what's happening behind, like, in the back, is that there is so much confusion with those things appearing, this magic happening all throughout the battlefield, that, like, all of the warriors are confused, but since you're taking the advantage, like, fighting the leaders, You see the Gauls being demoralized because their leader is now unconscious. You see like the Romans.
Thanks to me, by the way.
Yeah, great job. You see the Romans rallying behind you, Caesar. Like basically, they're arriving behind this wall caused by the submarine, and the cavalry is asking Caesar, shall we retreat or try to keep the gates open until the infantry arrive, or do you have yet another brilliant plan?
Go into the submarine. Submarines are so small and on the inside.
Maybe there's a machine gun on top of the submarine.
That would be really awesome.
There are torpedo slots to either side of it. That are but like they're pointed at the walls of Elysia, but you don't think they would work. You don't think they would work very well in air.
Well, they launch with pressure, so they won't work well in air, but on short range, they'll totally blow something up.
So, Philip, it's actually your initiative, and your cavalry is here, and you're with the chaos, like with the ambient chaos. Your cavalry is taking the advantage. Like you are taking the entrance of Elysia. In the background, your men have started to like get up from the camp. It's not they weren't expecting to fight, but like they are organizing. They are coming towards Elysia. So yeah, what do you do?
I'm sorry, but I have to interject this. After knocking out the general, Lucius has to look to Caesar when the submarine comes and says, "Your submarine, my lord? You understand how powerful my magic is now." Do not doubt me again. With a big smile.
So
he has to. I'm sorry, but he has to.
Philip, so what do you do?
Oh boy, what do I do?
Now, remember, you came here to try to save Stefan.
Yeah. So I'm gonna head to save Stefan.
Okay. Do you take your cavalry with you?
I'll take a few of them with me, just in case these.
Okay. Can you roll for leadership to see if, like, in the chaos of the battle, you managed to get like just some of them to follow you instead of all of them, or see if you get your orders across properly. You trained for this in leadership for this, right? I believe you put some points into it.
I thought I did, but apparently I thought I did, but it's showing 0.
That's weird. Okay, because your character sheet does not seem to be updating very well every time that you buy stuff. Because it seems that all of your skills are still at what they were at the beginning of the campaign. I think yeah. Okay. For
yet another show of my power, Caesar.
Roll for strategy instead. Okay, since you have 6 points in this, like just for now, like you're coming up with a strategy to maneuver. Okay, cool. That works great. Yeah, you're taking them with you, and you're sort of leaving this part of the battlefield. It's going to take you a little bit, but your men are going to start searching the houses, and you yourself enter one of them, and you're going to find Stefan there, and he's with another Gaul, but this one is dressed like a druid, basically. He's dressed like a shaman, and he turns and as you enter, he turns around to you and he says, "Halt! I have some very important news to you. You might not know about this, but you are currently being played. Your leader Caesar has been usurped by a voyager from the future, and he's trying to control your army to to serve his own ends. Believe me, I am also a voyager. My name is Galileo. I come from your.
Let's kill him.
I come from your future, and I have come to make sure history happens exactly as it's supposed to. And yeah, he has Stefan unconscious at his feet, and he's doing what Galileo usually does, which is talk to the people who are undercover.
Monologues.
Let's kill him.
Every time he's always doing this. So yeah,
let's string him upside down on the cross and then burn him alive. That will make history.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, the Romans are more interested in conquering and claiming the future than upholding how it's supposed to be, right? So this is an issue for everyone, right?
But remember, Philip, you're currently rewriting a verse, so your actions have to follow the light. That doesn't mean you can't kill anyone. It just means you have to be careful what you do.
For the right reasons.
Yeah.
Kill him. Feed him to the pigs.
Lucius, you're not present. You're not here right now.
I was there with them the whole time.
You can use your turn to follow him, to ride with him. But I believe you got off the horse and he rode through Elysia. So.
Okay, that's fair. Okay.
So.
Right, yeah, I'm not gonna kill him. I'm not.
Uh-huh.
I'm not that much of an idiot.
What do you say?
First, I hold back laughter. Hold for laughter.
Okay.
And then I just get a stern look at him and I say, "You fool! I am Caesar."
Okay, so he has this moment and he says, "So you're the person rewriting the verse, you miscreant. But we have, your little adventure is over. Crimson, when he died, reported to us, the masters, and currently." And he reported your identities as potential Neo-Hermes. He organized this trap. And while you're fighting here, in the real world, your bodies are about to be murdered.
Hello?
That's right. This trap this brilliant trap is sure to kill you. Now surrender, and I might yet return to the real world to order my men to spare you.
Can Lucius just teleport there?
They're inside of a house, and you do not have line of sight. You don't know this is happening.
Can I go to the outside of the house?
You can try to follow, but it's not your initiative. I'm just trying to see like what Philip does.
Okay.
Oh God. Can I just put the hand up?
Yeah.
Listen, how do you even know where we are? How do you even know where our bodies are?
Well, all Crimson really had to do was report the names of the people that he'd been working with that captured him, and when he formed his memory palace, we knew your names, and we knew you, and I didn't know your name, of course, because who has time to learn these? But my subordinate, Selena Murray, Professor Murray, told me that you were working at the observatory, where I go and work every time, right under my nose. I should have known.
Oh, fuck me.
Are you trying to stall him, or just get him to monologue his plans at you? Or something else?
I'm kind kind of stalling him until I can figure out what the hell I should do, because I'm not very good at all this, like,
all right.
diplomacy shit.
We're gonna say that this is it for your turn. Oliver, you're next on the initiative roll. What do you do?
I don't know any of this is happening, so I'm just going to stab the person in front of me that Chris is holding.
Okay. So yeah, I don't think he can defend while serving as a hostage. So just roll.
I'm going to attempt to block him with the guy I'm holding.
Lock him?
Block him, yes. As he attacks the guy I'm holding,
Yeah.
I'm going to block him with the guy I'm holding.
Okay. So
Shove him onto the sword.
yeah. Okay, I thought you were trying to like kick Oliver's sword out of the way to save this guy, but no, you're both like you're like pushing him into the sword. Okay, so that's going to give you a +3. Oliver, all you have to do is succeed at a weaponry test to get him.
And I just whispered into his ear, so close.
Okay. Did he had he already been hurt? I believe he hadn't this one.
I don't think I've hit him yet.
Yeah,
I think I failed the first time, then I rolled a 46 on the second one.
Okay. So yeah, you strike him for the first time. No problem. Like he yells in pain and says, "Wait! If you kill me, your lives won't be spared in the real world." And that's gonna be it for his turn. Chris, it's the new turn, new initiative. What do you do?
I am going to look at Oliver and see if Oliver gives me any sort of indication that he wishes to engage this guy in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I'll shrug, like, I have no idea what he's talking about.
Strangle.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you deal 2 damage to him. So he's currently at. Oh no, you deal 3 because you have the. Do you have the Ares aura on you, Chris?
No, I have Taurus on.
Okay. So it seems almost like a waste that you have Taurus because nobody ever hits you.
Yes, but I can't really like damage in melee is so insignificant that it's more effective in the unlikely event someone does hit me to not get hurt. Yeah,
gotcha. Okay, so you just deal 2 damage, and that's it. That's it for your turn. Lucius, you're next on the initiative. Yeah. By the way, Chris, if you're ever interested in playing twice in a turn, you can take the what's it called? You can take the acceleration prime when you can't take a prime and a penalty. Lucius, it's your turn. What do you do?
Yeah, I would take the acceleration and try to get into the same door that Phillip is in.
Okay.
Because he's really interested in this. So, like, he would like to kind of burst in and be like, "Hey, I killed your general." You know, that type of thing. Like, "Hello, look at me."
He's the General Vercingetorix is merely unconscious right now.
Oh. Then I stab him, and then I would go. No, there's really no reason to keep him. I don't see a reason to keep him.
So what do you do with your turn? You have a limited number of actions, and you're gonna either have to roll for athleticism to roll to run to where you're going, or to grab the horse and roll a ride to get there. But if you also want to stab him, and like, what are you doing?
He's not really a murdering type of person, so I guess you want to stab him. Okay, but I don't know. He's always the magician. Is there a way that he could leave a little parchment on his chest or something like that that says, like, "You messed with the wrong people"? don't do it again, that type of thing, and then teleport over to the door and go in the door.
Yeah.
He's only violent when he really needs to be, but he's not a murderer, so he wouldn't just stab the guy to death.
All right. So you did, when you were describing this, all I could think of is the Hackers movie that has what's it called? Mess with the best, die like the rest. That's the you're like leaving a parchment like this and teleporting away.
Leave it right next to his cock. So the next time he takes out his cock, there's a parchment there.
All right. That's actually something that's that's also close to what Oliver was doing, trying to leave behind weird stuff inside of each verses you wanted to visit.
Oh, yeah. I still have to make my blockbuster card for this verse. I haven't had time to do that yet.
Yeah, it's been pretty hectic, but you are leaving behind a submarine and a house.
Yeah, could there be a little picture of a submarine and a house on there? Just to kind of remind him. And then he wants to teleport over. Kind of like this general is going to want to take a pee someday. And he's going to be like, what? Mm-hmm. And he's like, see this thing. And be like, huh?
All right.
And I mean, who wouldn't be a little bit intimidated by, you just got owned by somebody who totally can teleport behind you, and you don't know what to do, and now you have a message when you try to pee.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just a legacy.
On top of that, he's more skilled at combat than you. You just used your verses properly. So take another. Yeah, take yet another life point off to teleport to the house, and
Absolutely.
Okay, and basically
I want to walk in and be close to Phillip.
Okay.
Well, these things are going on, and just kind of be there to support. Here I am. Look at how awesome.
So you're going to have heard the last part about how in the real world, there's you've been discovered in the real world, and you're in danger. So you are aware of this, but unfortunately, there is no way to leave a verse until it is completed.
So he wants to take out his sword and put it next to this guy and say, like right near his cock, and say,
that's going to be a little bit too much actions for one turn. Okay.
Okay.
We'll
fine.
Yeah.
Next turn.
All right. It is now the enemy's turn. Okay. So Vercingetorix does have enough karma to wake up and flee. So that's what he's gonna do. The one who is with Chris and Oliver is. He's going to try to intimidate you. Yeah.
He's going to try and intimidate who?
You.
Who? Both of us? You?
No. He's going to try to intimidate Chris, basically. So, Chris, can you roll for, I believe this is willpower, and it will give you a penalty to your next action if, or a reaction if he succeeds. Actually, let me roll first, see if he... Yes, that is a success. Roll willpower. Oh, yeah, Defender, you beat him. So it doesn't really faze you that much, but he says, we know your bodies, we know you left behind, your bodies behind at the Hawaii Observatory. We have people entering the vault room right now who will take you out if you... who are going to take you out unless Galileo, unless one of us gives the word that you should be spared. Stop this madness right now and let me go, or you might, or I can't guarantee your safety.
Wow, you are such a moron. Not only did we beat you physically, but after you came here, we moved our bodies and captured all your people there. Dumbass. Children.
Just from my memory, there is no way to enter the vault room from outside once it's sealed, isn't there?
There isn't supposed to be any way in. Of course, there's like huge quantities of explosives could blow the vault door or special machinery. Depending on how long you stay in here, it would be difficult.
We have a submarine with missiles. We can transport the missiles over. We're good. These things are highly explosive.
Okay.
I'm willing to take that risk.
Hmm?
I'm willing to take that risk. These things are majorly explosive. We can take these weaponry from the submarines, and then we can move it over there and we can detonate it.
That is going to be so much fun. I've never killed a player with a big explosion before, and you handling missiles is surely going to end up in at least one of you dying.
DM's note.
What?
Is it an actual DM's note of saying don't do this?
Yes, it is. But listen, I would love to kill a player with an explosion for the first time. I like to just do it if you want to, but it's.
Let's not do it because I don't think any of us need to die from an explosion, and I like to listen to the DM.
All right.
Just by the way, I have blown up a party and killed half of them in a game I ran once. So.
Ooh, dang.
You're a good man.
Right.
It was a giant robot that was doing an audible countdown, and they didn't figure out that it was because it was counting down to explode, and then it exploded.
Well, you didn't exactly tell them that one of them at least will die if they try.
Right.
Okay. Well, Philip, do you want to die this time? You want to transport it all over? Caesar. No, don't do it.
Yeah.
No, we needed a better way then. Okay.
Okay, I know what I know.
Infiltration.
Hold on. I'm not done with my turn. The other person who can act is Galileo, and Galileo is going to use a verse he's previously used, but you've only seen the effects when he was taking over somebody's body. He touches Stefan and he says, "I dream sometimes of a brother, a double," and Stefan gets up, and you can see him shaking as his flesh turns to wax. And his beard grows, and in a couple of seconds, he looks just like Galileo does every time that he takes over. That he's taken a body of a Neo Hermes in the past. He looks just like this, and not at all like the body of the druid that Galileo inhabits. And Galileo hands him his sword. And says, if they try to hurt me while I leave, pierce your own neck. And he Stefan's body takes the sword and puts it against his neck. And Galileo says, "Let me through." He strides towards Philip and Lucius. What do you do? And it's going to be Philip's turn. Philip, what do you do?
I go, fuck. What else do I do?
I know. I'm the same thing.
Yeah, I immediately put my hands up and just go, whoa. Okay. We can't let you through, but we can try and figure this out.
I have. This is not a negotiation. I have your friend's life at my fingertips. Move out. I would not hesitate to use the same verse against you once I've killed your friend if you do not get out of my way.
Do you think we're gonna let you win that easily? You truly are a fool.
Do you stay in his path? Do you stay in his... Like, basically, like, he's asking you to get out of the way because you're in front of the entrance.
Here's what Lucius wants to do. I want to teleport
It's not your initiative yet.
And grab the sword.
It's not your initiative. You have to wait another turn. Right now, it's Philip's initiative.
Okay. I didn't realize we were on initiatives yet.
We're still on the same initiatives as before.
Okay. Could I? Oh, he's right there. So Stefan isn't gonna do anything unless we try to hurt Galileo.
You don't know that for sure. You don't know how this verse works. You know that it's you know that it's what seems to be a very powerful verse because it allows basically to take over somebody's body for a short while, but it might have flaws you're not aware of. If you want, you can hope to roll a 12 on astrology to know what this verse is.
I'm gonna hope real hard because I need information. Oh, nope.
You don't know what this verse does.
Yeah.
Can I try since I'm there?
Yes. Go. Try? Yeah. You can try to know this.
All right. Let me find this wonderful.
Third column towards the bottom, under Aquarius.
Okay, so it's
astrology.
First, you said first column toward the bottom.
Third column.
Oh, there it is. Third column. Okay, this is just a straight roll.
Yep. Yep, you also don't know about this verse. Astrology is useful when you're fighting up against people who have strange powers. Yeah, so Philip.
That's what we've had Stefan for this entire time.
Stefan, we need you back.
Yep.
Oh. Okay.
So Philip,
let me know when it's
it's your turn to take action, Philip. What is your action? Do you value Stefan's life over the over capturing Galileo? Do you are you willing to take that risk? Because you could try to defeat Galileo in a single turn. Do 2 attacks with the heavy damage prime or 3 attacks and hope you murder him. That could stop the spell, or it could just make the clone kill Stefan.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to do anything to hurt Galileo. I'm way too nervous about that. So I'm going to instead just start slowly walking around Galileo towards where Stefan is, but watching to make sure that as I walk that the sword isn't getting any closer to Stefan's neck.
Mm-hmm. It is not. Lucius, passively, like it's going to be a passive, but do you take the risk of hurting Stefan by staying in by blocking his path, basically?
No, I'm going to teleport behind Stefan and try to grab the sword.
Okay, you're going to
keep it away from him.
You're going to do this on your turn. That's a very good idea. But I guess for now, like you are. It means you're not trying to aggravate Galileo, so he leaves basically.
I'm not trying to keep him there.
Yeah. Okay.
What I am trying to do is save Stefan.
All right. So he leaves.
I would even put my arm in front of the blade if I need to, between the blade and his neck.
Pretty good. Okay, nice. Oliver, it's your turn. What do you do? Yeah. Oliver?
So I haven't seen any of this happen yet, right?
No, you are not in this part of the battlefield. You are still talking with the one who's trying to intimidate you, and it's not working. In fact, he's intimidated by Chris.
Pretty sure we were in the process of stabbing this guy. Yeah. So let's continue that process.
Okay. Do you want to declare 2 attacks or a heavy prime? Either of those things could make him unconscious or kill him if you do 2 attacks.
All right, yeah, discount that roll I just did, and I'll do 2 attacks with efficiency and
risk. Yeah, slow. You could take 1 slow, not 2. Okay, you can take 1 slow, but not 2. Otherwise, you lose your next turn because you would fall under 0. You need to take another penalty, or you can lose your next turn if you're fine with that.
I'll take slow and risk.
Okay. So roll your second weaponry check, and if you roll a 12, you're not at risk.
Right. So that's 0.
It's a fail. So here's what's going to happen. Yeah. Oh, I like this.
I mean, my first one connected, so he's almost unconscious, right?
Yes, he's almost unconscious, and I am going to be nice here and say that your second attack does connect, but because you took the risk, something bad is going to happen. I think, yeah, I know what's happening. Let's see, what would be a nice one. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to think of an interesting building to have pop up and crush you, basically. Because like you basically like you're gonna stab him and he's gonna like you're gonna like put him above your head slightly, and when he materializes, it's going to crush you under the weight. You're going to take 4 damage for this.
Maybe it's a Starbucks.
Yeah, but that's a great idea. It's gonna be a coffee shop. I don't think we can use a Starbucks unless this is a parody. But like, yeah, it's a giant coffee shop that is actually going to like appear between the submarine and the house and like push both of them like out of the way violently. And you are under the what's it called? You are under one of the like you arrive under the floor. The floor like collapses under you, but also like some coffee spills on you from above, and it's hot coffee. You take 4 points of damage.
Well, hey, that's how Lucius got in here, was hot coffee.
Huh?
That's how Lucius got into this whole mess, was hot coffee. He made hot coffee and he threw it on that tourist guy.
Good times. Good
memory.
Good times.
You're going through it, but now you understand.
All right.
And you actually have to take off a wounded box to go, or an unconscious box to go unconscious, right?
Yes.
Okay.
If you so meaning you still need to take 1 more damage before your rest to bring you back triggers, but you can also just heal normally.
Yeah.
All right.
Apart from the fact that I don't have any more light armor, yes, I can do that.
All right. I do believe I do believe both types of karma can heal the middle. If you have darkness karma, you can also use it to heal the middle line. Anyways,
okay.
Chris, it's your turn. You start your turn by being violently ejected by the sudden appearance of the coffee shop's glass door that just pushes you against a group of Roman soldiers. What do you? They are charging into the city. They're breaking through, and you can see that under Caesar's leadership, they seem to be heading towards the houses, towards where the civilians are. In fact, you can hear screams of the civilians as the fighting rages on. What do you do, Chris?
Well, I take a look at Oliver. Is he like crushed and like just his shoes are sticking out, and are they red ruby?
Yeah, you should have made it an old Kansas house. That would be great.
Hey, Romans had red uniforms, but no, he's wearing sandals, basically. The floor materialized around him, and then, he burst out of it, basically, after being crushed by the weight. But he's inside of the building.
Does he look okay?
He looks... Do you look okay, Oliver?
Like he looks like he was crushed by a coffee shop. So take that however you want.
Is he a green witch?
Well, you'd be just a splotch then on the ground. So, are you standing and conscious?
Yeah.
Are there people inside serving coffee?
No.
Certainly hope so.
What a waste.
I know what happened to the coffee?
Hold on. There aren't people inside. The only people, but there is an Archon and a Diva who are. They are basically both of them are spewing light and darkness onto the shelves, and you can see different. What are they called? Boxes of coffee materializing. A lot of them with strange names, like they're the names of places or dates. And the whole building materialized almost instantly, but it seems to be taking them much longer to materialize the coffee, the boxes of. Not just the boxes, but also bags of ground coffee. So what do you do?
Okay, so last I saw also was Caesar was fine riding off with his army, part of it, and Lucius was playing around with vermin genetics. So I'm going to go look for those two and see what they're doing.
Okay. Do you ride there? Do you run there? That's going to depend on whether you want to use...
no, I look there. I look where they were.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can see the direction in which Caesar went off, because that's where his soldiers headed off to. But you don't see you see some men saying Caesar's in there, and you see a druid coming out of the house. And yeah, basically, you see in that direction. So what do you do?
But what about where Street was with Vermingetics?
Okay, so Lucius went to follow Caesar, Philip. Okay, so he's in the same house now. Vercingetorix has fled from the battlefield. He is running behind his troops, basically. And you don't have line on sight on either Lucius or Philip, but you know which building they're in.
All right, but the one I'm really curious about is Vermingetics, where he is.
All right, Vercingetorix.
They left on their initiative. This is my first initiative since that happened. So they can't have moved more than the duration of their portion of an initiative round.
Yeah.
And I'm going after him.
Okay.
The general was unconscious.
Yeah, but he used karma to regenerate, and he got back up.
Damn him and his karma.
You guys can regenerate too when you have darkness karma, but yeah, currently you can't feel his karma anymore, as if he's spent all of it. But he has put, but running behind some of his warriors, there's basically 3 warriors between you and him. If you want to reach him, you need to dodge those 3 attacks with a rising difficulty. But if you do dodge all 3 of them, you can reach him this turn.
I go to where Caesar was.
Okay.
Or is, or I believe he is.
All right. So roll. Do you run there or ride there?
I run there.
Okay. Roll for athleticism. Since it's a larger distance, you roll at -3.
-3? Okay,
yeah.
-3.
That is a success. You make it to the you're going to make it to the house. Like, you're running through the battlefield, once again flipping over enemies and stuff like this.
Wait a second. Are their guys still fighting? All of their leaders have been dropped, right?
Yeah, but they have quite the numerous advantage, and their city is being attacked. They are like trying to stop the Roman army. They're having trouble, and they're being pushed back. But yes, there's still lots of fighting happening. Lucius, it's your initiative. What do you want to do?
Has the general had to pee yet? I'm hoping he finds that message. That's all.
No, not yet. It's just been a couple of turns. You wanted.
So he hasn't pissed his pants from fear.
No. We're like, can we get on with whatever action you're trying to do, please?
Yeah. Lucius wants to get into the new cafe.
Okay.
As fast as possible, and he wants to get to the counter with the Archons and Divas. And he wants to say, "Please, give me a grande doppio ristretto mocha cappuccino with vanilla and skim."
So roll for athleticism at -3 to go in the opposite direction that Chris went in, instead of trying to save Stefan.
I thought he was saving Stefan because the druid already left.
Yeah, but Stefan still has the form of Galileo and is still holding a sword to his own.
Okay, fine. He's going to put off his coffee and try to get the sword away.
Okay.
So what do I have to roll for that?
It depends.
Can I do some sort of like sleight of hand or something like that? Because nobody's trying to attack the druid. So he, like Galileo said, if anyone tries to attack me, then slit your throat. But but nobody's doing it. So is there any way he can kind of like get the sword out of his hand now?
Okay. So he still looks like Galileo physically, but you don't, and he is still like eyeing you with some distrust. But you can try to disarm him like you did, Chris did, by rolling 2 brawl checks and succeeding.
I don't have any brawl ability whatsoever, so basically he's just trying to. You know how a magician takes a watch off of somebody? And that kind of thing? He's trying to hope that maybe he can be like, "Hey, look, he's going. That's great. Wonderful. And it looks like everything is fine, buddy. That's great. Everything's nice. Look at him. He's going. Everything's wonderful." And just kind of, "Hey, by the way, look at this shiny object." And then maybe get his sword away from him. That's basically what he can do. He can block the sword from the throat with his own arm.
Okay.
And then he can try to trick the sword out of his hand to be like, "Hey, look, it's going great," Sleight of hand it out. That's all that he can really do.
Okay, no, that is a great idea. So you're going to roll subterfuge against my vigilance. Okay, you're at a -6 because this is really difficult. You're like basically trying to get close enough to do this, and I think you should use the risk penalty because you are playing with Stefan's life, but also your own arm. But in exchange, you get a prime. Are you okay with taking the risk penalty to represent this action?
Sure.
Okay.
What roll am I going to make?
Subterfuge against my vigilance.
So is it a -6 still, or is it a -3, or is it a -9, or what is this?
Do you want to use your free prime against risk to give yourself a bonus?
I do.
Okay, so it's just -3 to your check. Go ahead and
All right.
make the.
Be lucky. 12. Okay.
So, now's the very important question. Do you take the darkness dice?
I don't get to see what the roll is?
You should normally not, technically.
Damn it.
Although since he did roll it right there, you can see it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Why not? He'll take the darkness this time.
Okay.
This is like the main idea of this adventure is to save this guy, right? I mean, to a large degree.
Well, he's the one. Like, it's the reason you've charged straight into the enemy territories, and so yeah.
Okay, yeah. F it, he'll do it. Okay, so I have 2 darkness.
Okay.
Now. Okay, sure, yeah. Okay.
All right. You let the Speed Force guide you. No, I'm kidding. You let the Capricorn, which is almost the same thing, guide your hand, and you move faster than the eye can see, and you're able to stop the attack. He was going to hurt his own neck, and you are and you're going to take the damage. For this, but Stefan is going to live, which is actually better than what I was expecting to happen. So,
all right, how much damage do I take?
You take 4 points of damage from the sword, but that's going to be Galileo's turn.
So now I'm actually wounded, which I've never been before. So I have a -3 to my initiative now. Is that what that says?
Yes, we haven't actually used that very very well, but technically that would drop you to an initiative of 6.
Which is good because I get -3 to my initiative, or I get wounded all the time. So
yeah, it's this sort of like. Game mechanic, which is like it slows the combat down to apply it every time.
So like he slashes my arm, but I get the sword. Is that what happens?
You don't get the sword. You stop him from hurting him on his turn, from hurting himself.
Oh goodness gracious! Okay.
But Philip, okay. Vercingetorix, on the other hand, keeps running behind, starts rallying his troops to the back, and trying to like get them to defend him and to defend the gate from the oncoming army. Okay, Philip, it's your turn. What do you do? I think you're muted again.
I was. So Stefan is not in full control of himself yet?
No, it would appear that this power lasts longer than what you would expect.
Great. I hate it. Oh god. And Lucius, you've already tried to grab the sword, and that did not work, correct?
No, it did work. He basically he grabbed the sword with his hand, and he's stopping the sword from hurting Stefan, which means you have 1 turn. Lucius has granted you 1 turn to act and try to save him. So what do you do?
can I try and just straight up tackle Stefan to the ground?
Yes.
And restrain him?
Yes, definitely. How much brawl do you have?
6.
Okay.
Ooh.
So, if you want to tackle him, it might be 2 actions. So, let me just check that real quick. Do you want to disarm him? Rather.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's going to be 2 actions, but you only need to roll your brawl once.
Okay.
Okay. You're going to be at -3. So I suggest you take risk, maybe. I suggest you take a prime and a penalty to give yourself a bonus, but it's optional.
Yeah, I definitely want to do that. I'm gonna do that. I'll
Okay.
take a risk and try it.
And
That would make it a straight roll?
yes, that makes it a straight roll against. Let's see. I'm gonna see how much Stefan's defense is, and let's see. Dodge 4, perfect. Yeah, he's okay. So now you have to roll higher, 14 or higher to get him. Go ahead and roll brawl. And you took risk as well. You played with your master's life. Okay.
Fuck.
All right. So here's what happens.
This is going great, guys.
Yeah, things are going awesome.
Don't cut my arm up, okay?
I was so sure that would work. I was so sure I would roll well.
Oh, that was, just luck.
Okay, so Theo, here's what happens, and don't worry, I have things planned for this. Everything is going to be fine, but
Hello.
But you charge Galileo. You charge Galileo inside of Stefan's body, and he's and you're about to tackle him, but in when you bump against his chest, his head moves forward against the sword, and he falls to the ground. Lucius still holding the blade, but in your arms, his form reverts back to the Roman's form, and his eyes start to glow with light. His mouth, out of his mouth, a ray of light emerges, and the garden and the Oxford University that are Stefan's memory palace that you've been to a couple of times when you've come back to Earth from Alison's memory palace, materializes itself inside of the hut that you're in, breaking it apart completely, sending both of you flying out of there as the University of Cambridge manifests in the middle of Elysia. So,
Shit.
yeah, and on the inside you can see his Archon and his Diva, who look just like him. They are projecting light and darkness on flowers all around the garden. They're materializing what you know to be his memories. Theo,
That's weird.
It is weird, but you know what happens when a Hermes dies, when they've done their all 3 of their works and they have their memory paths. You and Oliver know this.
I do now. Wow.
What did we establish happened, Lucius?
The guy just died and left out his memories, is what it looked like to me.
That's right. If a Hermes dies in the real world with all of the memory palace and works complete, they are projected up to the Great Book, and they manifest their and once they've touched the Great Book, they manifest their memory palace there. But usually, it's not done from the inside of a verse. But what you've been doing by killing those people is manifesting their memory palaces inside of a verse in progress. Because so these people are going to keep on existing here in the same dimension, and Stefan just died, basically. Oliver, you look so confused by this.
Oh no. That's really, really, that seems really bad to me, since this was like the whole purpose of charging these gates.
Yep.
And now Stefan died, and so we failed, is what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
That is correct.
I did everything I literally could, and the guy gets killed.
Yep. But don't worry.
Roll.
It's
One roll.
It's not as bad as it seems. Oliver. Oliver.
Oh no.
You recognize that rooftop. You recognize the building that just manifested. You recognize from here the scent of those flowers from the times you went to Stefan's memory palace. What do you do?
That really solidifies my strategy that I'm going to attempt. Because it just killed a pretty good friend. So, well, as far as I know, the bad guys killed a pretty good friend.
Technically true. Yeah, it's Galileo's fault.
Okay, well, let's kill Galileo.
How full does this coffee shop look like with memories?
It seems that currently there are 5 of them manifested fully.
I'm going to try smashing one.
Okay. So you take that box of memories, like you take a packet of beans, and what, you just slam it against the floor.
I just take the sword and start hacking at it.
Okay. The beans start to fall onto the floor and scatter around. The diva says, the diva, while still working on creating new memories, yells at you and says, "You fool! You misguided fool! You try to rewrite history like it's going to solve Judgment Day. The gods won't be convinced, and as long as with a verse that looks like that looks like this, your efforts to convince them that humanity is good are futile because you're lying to them." What do you do? And it's a diva saying this to you.
I'm gonna try attacking the diva too.
Okay. Your sword passes right through the diva. He exists. He's immaterial. You don't have the type of swords that can damage them, but if you have a verse that either does damage or that takes karma away from someone, that will damage this person.
I have neither. So
okay.
I have neither.
Okay, that's unfortunate.
I think I'll just smash another coffee bag. It's kind of the last thing I do on my turn.
All right. I'm going to call for a small break halfway through this game. I hope everyone is having fun and that nobody's mad that I killed Stefan's character while he wasn't there. He's not. It's not as permanent as it looks. It's like
no, it is more permanent than it looks.
I mean, the poor guy's always got his memory erased once, and now he's dead.
Yeah, like
we'll remember this then, Lily.
He's dead, and arguably by the hand of his own student.
Well. I mean, we just got to do Stefan keeping on.
Basically, the dilemma of this verse was when, what's his name? at some point during the fight, Vercingetorix was out of food inside of Elysia, so he let civilians out into the no man's land, and between the walls of Elysia and the walls that Julius Caesar had built around his town, and hoping that Caesar would just let them go, let them pass, and let them be free because they were civilians. Caesar was like, no, you're staying in no man's land. And then they went back to Elysia, but Vercingetorix was like, oh, now that you guys are gone, I have enough food for my armies. So you're staying outside. So basically the whole verse, the choice of darkness that both of them made in this verse was condemning civilians. And currently, Philip, you've led your troops into the residential areas, so there's a good chance that like this verse might not be written into a verse of light, but you might still you could still like bring it back. You could still turn it around if you did things properly, but it's gonna be a choice between going after Galileo and ending him or sparing him. So, Chris, it's your turn. What do you do?
I'm going to overpower Galileo.
Okay. You see him. Like he had a head start, I think, because he started running away, and you've only just reached the house. So roll for athleticism against his own in an attempt to catch him. And he is not very good at running. Yeah, you catch up to him. You didn't take any penalties for extra actions, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so you catch up to him. Basically, he's running through the streets. Civilians are yelling and running around you. Some of them are like saying, "Oh, great druid, what should we do? The Romans are inside," and he's completely ignoring them, breaking the realism of his character. But yeah, you catch up to him. It's his turn.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
So his last action, when it was his turn last, was to exit the hut.
And to run, yes.
My action,
yes.
Last action, was to go to the hut.
Yes.
So
but
how can he be any further than the amount of distance that he could have moved in a single round?
He's not. He has moved an entire round's worth of away from the hut. He
walked out of the hut, right?
Or no, he's running. He's running. Like he is running for his life now. And you spent your previous turn running to the hut. So basically, you were at the end of your turn at his starting point. All right. So he. Let's see. Let me have a look real quick at his verses. Okay. All right. How are you feeling currently, Chris? How is your character? Yeah.
How am I? I haven't taken any damage. I'm facing the people who have the most completely implausible level of morale I've ever experienced in my life. I mean, we've established that my character has actually fought in tournaments before.
Yeah.
And yet I'm still facing people who are completely being beaten down and demonstrated that there is a obvious level of superiority to them, and yet they just continue to, almost like a child struggling against the parent to do something that they have no hope of succeeding at.
I mean, a lot of them are fleeing.
They continue to do these things. So I'm feeling like something is clearly completely wrong here, and I've probably taken the wrong approach by trying to be considerate and fair and allow these people a chance to surrender and survive. So I'm, at this point in time, going to begin killing everyone in sight until they surrender.
Okay.
That's how I'm feeling.
Okay, that's how you're feeling.
My thoughts.
So that is perfect. Because Galileo, all right, Galileo turns around and he basically he can't run away very quickly, and he sees you catching up to him, and he let's see. Okay, for how long? Okay, yeah. It's and you hear him like trying to cast a verse on you. He says, "Our virtues and our vices are inseparable, as are energy and matter." And you and what this verse does is that it completely switches out the emotion that you have. So currently, if you were feeling an enormous amount of cruelty, you transform this emotion into its opposite. You pity him. And instead of feeling frustrated that you were doing so superiorly against those people and they were fleeing, now you have more of an understanding why they're fleeing for their lives and trying to fight against you. Basically, it switches out your emotions, and so like you're sort of like you have this like intense compassion for Galileo right now instead of cruelty, and that's gonna be, and he's gonna keep running after this.
Put him out of his misery then.
Okay.
Pity.
It is now your turn, Lucius. You are also at the same starting point. Are you running out of the hut after him?
Yeah,
the hut's been destroyed.
Took the black part of Lucius Black, apparently because I've been taking a couple of negative dice here, but this guy just killed the whole purpose of why we did this everything.
Well,
and to me, it seems like there's a lot of very irrational things going on, and it seems like the only thing we can do is kill this guy, to me. So, I don't know how to kill him with the skills that I have exactly, and without all the magic and stuff he normally has. But I'm going to tackle him magically. Like if I can just kind of teleport onto him and see if I can knock him down and let somebody else get to him, that would be perfect.
Okay.
I want to stall him. I can't fight him because I don't know if he's a better fighter than me. He's probably a gimpy little guy, but so is Lucius apparently when fighting. So he's going to try to just like run and teleport and use that ability that he has, like maybe maintain the momentum that he has when he's running and do a shoulder smash into the back of this guy.
Okay. We're going to say you're trying to do the first step of overpowering someone. So it's going to be a brawl check, and if you use your verse to teleport, it's going to give you a free prime, basically, because you arrive in a place where you surprise him. So you can roll brawl at +3. Okay.
So I basically have a 3.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've been rolling lucky for a little while, so maybe who knows?
You won't succeed in defending if you roll a 12. If you roll success.
Well, I'll try what I can here. Okay. One moment, please. I'm trying to find the right part of my character sheet. Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. brawl. And I just write 3 and then submit.
Okay. That is a failure, but it's going to be harder for him to defend against any other attacks that come his way this turn. Philip, it's your turn. You're in the middle of the garden. You're in the middle of flowers that are Stefan's memories, and they're like manifesting all around you, and the body that was in your arms just evaporated into the structure, into the building that's around you. And behind you, your friends are running after Galileo, teleporting to him and attacking him. But your mentor, he disappeared from your hands. What do you do?
I take a moment just to acknowledge what happened and try and process it.
Mm-hmm.
And in a moment of rage, I will stand up, draw my sword, and charge after Galileo with the rest of my friends.
Okay. How many actions do you want to do this turn? Do you want to run after him and attack him?
Yes.
Okay, that's 2 actions. So roll athleticism against his 12, and then roll to. So you're at -3, and then roll a weaponry to attack him at -3. And he. Wow. Okay, and my defense is horrible. So you catch up to him. You're there. Yeah. Go ahead, roll weaponry to attack him.
All right.
So while you attack, Lucius is doing like a somersault in space past him somehow. Like, you bastard! Ooh, just keeps going.
Yeah. All right. So you catch up to him and you strike him, and he you hit him across the leg, and he falls to the ground. And you can see he has the wound on his neck, the same wound that you caused Stefan, because apparently his body was linked to the other body while he was using this verse, but he only took. With your weapons damage, he's now unconscious, but he's still very much alive. Oliver, you are inside of the coffee shop. Outside, some of the Roman soldiers have started lighting some of the huts, some of the houses on fire with their arrows, and you can see the army is fast approaching the walls.
If you're hungry, there's pork on the stove.
Oh, I have a roast pot.
Okay.
So what do you do, Oliver?
No, I'm just covering. I'm still in the game. Okay.
Lucius, you're not muted.
Quiet.
Does it look like cutting up that coffee bag did anything to the memory attached to it?
You don't know, because you don't know how to access that memory. It seems to be different for every people. For sometimes it's like about smelling the flower for Stefan's memory, and I think somebody's like cutting stuff in the background. Okay, it's gone.
Someone is hammering somewhere in my building, and I can hear it. It's super annoying. That's why I've been trying to mute myself whenever I'm not talking.
Okay. So you don't know if you did destroy the memory or not, because you don't know how to enter those memories based on the bags of coffee. All
right. guess I'm just going to try to exit the coffee shop and rein in the soldiers a little bit because, well, this isn't necessary.
Okay, so you, as Caesar's doctor, you're trying to tell them don't burn the houses, don't kill the civilians.
Yeah, I'm going to point out that they're nicer than sleeping in their tents. And we're going to need this fortress when their reinforcements come.
All right, roll for leadership. Okay, yeah, you managed to get the Roman soldiers back to sort of state of order. You've successfully done it just in time for Vercingetorix's men to like they finished like regrouping basically. Now remember, Vercingetorix had 3 times more men than Caesar's entire army, and currently you just ran in with just the cavalry. So right now, your forces are about to be overtaken. Oliver, you're in charge of the army currently. What do you like? You're in charge of the cavalry. You know where your friends are. You can see them. You know you're not going to be able to hold the exit very long. What are your orders?
How far away is the legionaries and the auxiliaries?
How far away is
the rest of the army?
The rest of the army? They're still like more than half a mile away. They haven't they're on foot. They were camping. They're like running to try to help, but they're still quite far away.
Somebody's getting hammered.
Yeah, it's not mildly annoying in the slightest at all whatsoever.
It happens at my place too. You never know when it's going to happen.
It's better than getting knifed like Stefan.
I'm going to withdraw the cavalry to the entrance.
Okay.
Like the gate, and try to hold that, since that should eliminate a lot of their
okay.
Their numerical superiority.
All right, you're ordering the start of a retreat. And in fact, the people that are in the streets that you got them to like stop attacking. Now you're getting them to retreat. So all around the rest of the group, Philip, Chris, and Lucius, yeah, you're hearing like the men starting to retreat. Yeah, the horns are blowing, and they're slowly like coming back. In fact, some of them offer you, Caesar, come onto my horse. We have to get out of here, or like they offer you to transport you. But you have not finished dealing with Galileo yet. Chris, you're next to him, and it's your initiative. Do you do something, or do you let Philip take care of this?
Am I aware that this guy, old man, running as fast as he can, still had the breath to speak a verse and affected me and made me do a complete 180 reversal on the spot?
Yes.
Am I aware of that?
You are aware of this, but you still have those like very powerful, conflicting emotions inside of you. It's like it's only been one turn, so you're slowly starting to like come back to your normal mental state. But like right now, you're still feeling very compassionate, supernaturally compassionate.
Okay.
So what do you do?
Everything I can to fight off the supernatural compulsion.
Okay, roll for willpower. You're at -6 at this point. Okay, Your mind is still shrouded by this verse, so you're not coming out of it yet. Vercingetorix starts to move towards the exit as well. Lucius, it's your turn. You're next to the body. The others are.
What do I see here?
You see Galileo's been hit by Philip, and he's laying on the ground, and he's bleeding. All around you, the cavalry, they're starting to retreat. They're going back towards the gate under Oliver's orders, and some of them are offering to take you with them on their horses. They're offering you retreats.
I'm going to hogtie this guy.
Two?
I'm going to hogtie him. Now, as a magician, I know a lot of knots.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tie this guy up as much as I possibly can, tie him up so he doesn't move one bit.
Okay.
And I'm going to even put ties through his mouth so he can't say any verses.
That's good.
And he can't chew through things. I'm going to put some wood on either side. I mean, I'm going to really tie this guy.
It feels like you're rolling for intrusion, basically, because intrusion is your ability to get out of handcuffs and stuff like this. You're trying to use your knowledge of handcuffs to properly restrain him. So go ahead and roll for intrusion.
Yeah, and he has 5 strips of cord through his mouth at least.
All right.
Is this a straight roll?
Yes. Okay.
18.
So despite the difficulty finding materials, you do pretty well. You grab somebody's you use his own belt in his hands and start tying him up completely.
I use my belt or armor or anything, any straps I have, anything. They all go. That's fine. I'll sacrifice my own armor if it needs to help.
All right. It seems he used his last karma previously, and he is not regenerating back into consciousness. Philip, your enemy, you've hit him, he's now unconscious, and he's been restrained by Lucius, but he caused your master to die. So what do you do?
Oh, God. Trying to get into Philip's head and trying to figure out what exactly he would do in this situation.
Do you want me to? I can trigger an event that could help you out with this. A helpful hand before.
I feel like I know what I'm gonna do. I just hate to do it because it'd be so dark and not good. If that's not the direction you want to head off with your character, we can say you're about to do it, and then something happens, and you can choose whether or not that thing is able to stop you or not. That sounds good. Yeah.
Okay, so you have your sword in your hand, and you turn back to the Stefan's memory palace, and you know how valuable this mentor is, how much he can teach, and how much was lost just now. But you and you look at this one last time before you kill Galileo. But before you can finish your movement, Stefan's diva seems to concentrate on a flower in particular and finishes manifesting it just in time for Allison to step through it with Apollo. She appears in the verse because she can appear in her student's memory palace, and looks around, and she sees you. And she sees you holding this weapon, and you have this moment of, if you know that if you kill Galileo, you condemn this verse to darkness. It goes against everything you and Allison have worked for. And you can see she raises her hand towards you as if to say to wait, but with the chaos of the battle, you can't hear her. So what do you do?
Just seeing Allison there, of all people, I would automatically freeze. I don't think I would do anything. I think I would, the fight, flight, or freeze. I think I would just freeze and just stare at her.
All right. She starts coming towards you, and all the while Apollo is starting to use their karma to cast different verses. Is any of you hurt? Has any of you been hurt?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm one wounded at this point.
Would you? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So Apollo absorbs your wounds into their body and starts to heal them with their karma. So both of you are back to full life points. And yep. And Allison, she comes towards you and she says, I felt him die, but his body is still alive in the real world. There might still be a way to save Stefan.
Are you sure?
Yes. But we need to act quickly.
Lucius says, let's go.
I sheathe my sword.
Okay. Allison, she has a look at Galileo and she says, thank you for, I don't know what you were about to do, but did he hurt Stefan?
Yeah. I mean, technically. And he took control over Stefan and made it so that we were stuck in a situation where Allison, it was awful.
I wish I'd been late a couple more seconds. Come, we have work to do. She turns around and basically she's going to start she tells you Apollo and her are going to start picking up as many of the flowers as possible and start carrying them outside as the troops are retreating. She gives some to some soldiers and commands them to take those flowers to safety and takes as many as she can carry and tells you to do the same. What do you do?
Well, can Lucius have a scar on his arm where he took that sword slash?
Yes.
Where he was trying to, it'll be healed, but he has a scar, permanent type of thing?
Yes. The scar won't appear on your body in the real world because currently you're inside of the pirate's body. But yeah, that's unfortunate.
Okay.
But maybe later.
Oliver can help you with that when we get back.
Thank you. Yeah, sure we could.
It's like that tooth, but worse.
He's hoping this. He's never. Remember, this is a guy that before this adventure had never been punched.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
The first time that he got punched was in that car thing where he got punched in the face, and then he got and then he got restrained.
I don't believe it. Based on your personality, I don't believe you were never punched before.
He had never been punched before because he was so good and it seems like he should have been punched a lot of times, but he's so good at talking his way out of things and being tricky and stuff. And then
I
suddenly,
feel that as a kid you were beaten up on a regular basis.
I agree.
yeah, well, it didn't happen. So you guys, I'm glad that I can have that persona.
It's not canon.
I'm really glad. I'm glad that you want me to be abused as a child. And everything.
No, it's not what we're saying.
That's really sweet of you.
Anyways,
that didn't happen.
Right.
Not until he was in the car chase, and then he got punched.
Yeah.
That was like the first time he ever got punched in the face. And now he's got a sword slash on his arm, and he's really, really proud of it.
Okay, so you are okay. Do you? Yeah, I'm gonna go through every character, and we're going to see how you retreat. If you retreat, okay. So currently on the initiative, it's Oliver. Oliver, you're still commanding. Like, are you still? You see Allison gathering those flowers. You see the group starting to come towards you, or at least Allison and Apollo are doing this, and your soldiers are holding the line until everyone can get out. Do you do anything?
No, I'm intending to hold that gate until the infantry gets here.
Oh, okay. You're not retreating. You're holding the line. Okay. In which case,
somewhere more defensible than an open city.
All right. In in this case, let's see, what sort of role should I make you do? Because you've already done leadership and it was okay. You're like, are you standing back from the fight and letting the soldiers like try to hold the place down?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what they're good at.
Okay.
I'm sure they have plenty of commanders that are fully capable of holding a small gap with, like, I don't know, a couple hundred cavalry.
Yeah.
That are probably dismounted now and just using a shield wall.
Okay. So what are you personally doing apart from like just giving them like beyond the instructions you gave them to like hold this place?
I will be doing my best to patch them up as best as I can.
Okay. Oh yeah, you do have equipment for this. Roll for medicine. You have a natural 4, so that is good.
Lucius has medicine too if he can assist. I don't know if that's
your turn is coming up afterwards.
Can I take efficiency and, like, I guess, risk? Because this is kind of risky, running around in a shield wall while arrows are flying, trying to bandage people up.
Yep. If you fail, we're gonna say that your character gets a disease. Trying to heal someone. You're gonna get like, you know, that it like the back then they didn't have any concepts of hygiene, so you might get sick. So go ahead and roll your medicine check.
Are you kidding? The Romans were incredibly clean. The Romans bathed like once or twice a day.
Huh, I wasn't aware of that the Romans did that.
Like their medical corps for their army was actually fairly advanced and did not do stuff that, say, like bleeding and stuff that later medical professionals did.
So, what do you want the risk to be?
Yes, disease would be fine because it is still blood and whatnot.
Okay, roll for medicine then.
Or I could get shot with an arrow or something. I don't know.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you're patching some of the more gravely wounded soldiers and like getting them back on their feet. Like they go from unconscious back to conscious thanks to your support. So you're actually like doing a really good job of like uniting the cavalry. If only your actions were being recorded for this verse. Chris. Okay, Chris. what do you do?
All right, so since I'm now forced into a feeling the opposite of the way I would have felt, what I'm going to do is then as I go back, there's still fighting going on, like all these current, right? So as I go through them, I'm going to yell orders directly at both sides. I don't care which side it is. For all of them, cease hostilities, break off. You go back and regroup with your general. You get back and guard the gate. And I am relying on the reputation of Mark Antony, as well as anything that may have been seen of us doing what we have done, because we weren't trying to hide the fact that we totally wrecked everybody.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just basically ordering them all to cease their hostilities in the name of Caesar and return to their sides, and we'll continue this another day.
All right. Roll for leadership, and you do so at a, I'm going to say +5 because that was some really good roleplay.
And I have +3 to impersonate Mark Antony from the last session. Can I add that as well for a total +8?
Definitely. You can use your bonus now.
Cool.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, that's because you wrote a plus. That is 17. That is 19. That is a 27. If you take the darkness dice, so that is more than enough to. Yeah, you're getting like both sides to separate really well. Okay, cool. On their initiative, they're like. They're like this fighting happening. Lucius, how are you retreating? Do you take some flour?
What Lucius would like to do is find any cloth that he can and anything that he can write with, and he would write like Caesar loves salad, and then run it around himself as a sash on his armor, if he can. And then he would be getting out of there. I don't think he's going to be trying to help people too much.
Okay.
But he is trying to get to. He has a sense of humor. So even though that wasn't funny, but he still would do it. And then so he would try to get out of there, and he's going to try to stick with Philip as much as he can. They seem to be a pretty good pair, and plus Philip is Caesar now, and he wants to make sure that this gets done properly.
Okay.
And so he would do it in Latin, by the way, because he can write Latin. And so he'd be like, and then very, very regal and very authoritative, like, yes, I own this place. I'm next to Caesar, so you must listen to me, that kind of demeanor. But he would stick with Caesar, with Philip.
Doesn't feel like you'd be rolling for anything for based on what you're saying. And Philip, you have seen Apollo and Allison take as many flowers as they could with them and heading towards the door. What do you do?
Oh, pardon me. Lucius is looking for threats.
Okay. Currently, the threats are being told off by Chris. So currently, like the enemy is regrouping.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm still sticking by Philip and looking for threats for anything that comes forward because he wants to. Okay. Well, pardon me. That's where he is.
Okay. Philip, what do you do?
I'm assuming there are still plenty of flowers left.
Yes.
How quickly could I collect as many as I could?
That is going to be based on your reflexes. If you roll 12, you're able to take those that are still there with you.
Okay. I'll take the darkness.
No, you don't need the darkness. This isn't a big deal.
It's memories.
This is a pretty big deal.
Okay.
Do you take the darkness dice?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, you're ripping Stefan's memory out from the ground and like start to carry them, being very careful not to smell them. Yeah, so like as you're heading out, you see Apollo like look down and they look back up and they say, "Wait, I've got an idea." And they take like a rose in their hand, and they charge. They're gonna start charging at the army of gold, and they try to and they get like a couple of soldiers to like they put the rose straight up against their nose, making them disappear into the memory.
Oh shit.
Because by smelling the flowers is how you enter Stefan's memory. So he's going to have random goals messing up his memory.
God, this is some Inception shit.
Thank you. I take that as a compliment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, we're in a verse with the memory palace open, and we're sending these people in the verse into the memories, and hi.
Okay.
Those gulls are going to be so confused.
Okay.
You're just fucking up history left and right.
Oh yeah, no, a lot. You at this point, it's not rewriters of history. At this point, it's like butchers of history. All right, we're just continuing just a little bit because we started late. So all of your characters are you're now gathered like behind the Roman defenses that are like trying to defend this door. And the cavalry, they're not like armored. They don't have like those big shields that that allow the Romans to hold lines as well. And you're going up against like many more people than what you like, many more goals than your numbers. But there's still hope. And Alison gathers you around her, and she says, "Look, Stefan, he's going to finish manifesting out of his memories soon, and it might not be the Stefan that you know. It will be the Stefan as he remembered himself. But we can all contribute to bringing him back properly if we all give up a memory of him and to add to the mix, so that he can come back more efficiently than the process would usually allow. If we do this, he might be able to return to his body because it's still alive. Because it's still alive in the real world. So I'm going to go in my memory palace to obtain a memory, and I'll be back to put it in here. Each of you, since you're here, you should be able to in the Great Book. It's possible to materialize things from your memory palace. So each of you go and get if you have a memory palace, go and get a memory that is important to you and Stefan that you're okay giving up to bring him back. And she smells the flower that goes back to her memory palace and disappears. And Apollo turns to Oliver and Philip, the ones who are closest to Stefan. What do you do? Chris, I believe you still don't have a memory palace, do you?
Last game we talked about what I was going to do with my memory palace, and we established it was going to be like a capoeira field with the various circles, and you had to move from one to the other and demonstrate your knowledge to be able to pass to the next one.
Have you formed memories of us with Stefan in them yet? He did initiate you and teach you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember going through that. He explained to me about divas and the archons and about what Trinity meant and what it was going to entail. And he actually is the one who made the potions that I drank. He's clearly not a very good cook, as they tasted horrible. But he's apparently a pretty good alchemist, because now I got a diva and an archon. So
Yeah.
I'll give up that. He's not a very good cook, but he's quite an accomplished alchemist, because he did give me my diva and my archon.
Okay, so yeah, you come back basically with, like, I'm gonna say a bit of sand or a bit of because we said that it was lines drawn in the sand. You bring back something physical from your memory palace. Your sand appears in your hands, and you like put them in with the flowers. Oliver,
Sure.
what are you? What's your precious memory with Stefan?
That one time at band camp?
Probably him recruiting me to the Near Hermes and teaching me the other side of the proverbial coin. And that I didn't have to keep the secrets and just be an apprentice to the Jackal.
Okay. So you're
both self-serving enough and personal enough to do something Oliver would do.
Right. So yeah, you give a memory. Both of you are giving memories of the way that he was as a teacher, how he taught you, like how he initiated you and brought you into this group. Philip.
I think I'll give up a memory of the time where we first started to really get each other on a deeper level and understand each other, and could kind of see past like less of the just like, oh, I'm just a student of yours, and more of like, oh, like there's something valuable happening here, and we have a bond that, you know, like if you were to leave, I would miss you.
Yeah.
And the moment that realization hit, I give up that.
Okay. Where was it?
It would probably have been at either like maybe an office or the observatory.
Okay. So Oliver brings back one of the rings from his memory palace, and Philip, you bring back your memories are inside of objects, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
What is the object for this?
I think it would probably be a well-used book.
Okay, nice. So yeah, you place all of these things together, and Stefan's Archon and Diva, who floated up to be next to you, like the Roman soldiers don't seem to see them. You seem to need clairvoyance to see them. They start. They both of them have mist coming out of their hands. One made out of pure light, and the other made out of darkness, and intermingle with the flowers in the and all of the other objects. And you can see Apollo contributing, giving up a little bit of their own karma. And after a few seconds, the mist swirl together, and you see Stefan appearing in the middle of it, back once again. And Alison puts her hand on his shoulder, and she says, "Welcome back. Now, if you ever go back in, when you go back now, if you die again, you won't be able to reformat your memory palace. This is your last chance. But welcome back among us." And he looks at all of you, and he's Yeah, his first words are going to be, "Oh boy, I'm starving. Is there any soup?"
Stuffing in goddamn soup.
I think this is now a good place to stop today's game. If that's okay with everyone.
But I want to make soup.
We have to make our boys some soup.
This is a super place to stop.
Hi everyone, and thank you for watching this video. If you want to keep up with all of the adventures on this channel, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button so you can get a notification each time we upload the next episode of this story. And it would be very nice of you to like and share the video to help this channel grow. Have a nice day everyone.